It doesn't really matter. Yeah, sometimes you get that the rollover, which should always work. Hopefully everybody joins us in a prompt fashion. I'll get myself into the stream. The chat's working just fine. The market is unabated. Again, like 2.25. You're just continuing to rally. Unless you're that FTAI stock, more or less, like you're doing absolutely fine. Nvidia just got back to high of the day. Tesla just got back to high of the day. AMD just got back to high of the day. I'm only in qubits. Check that, D-Wave, which is still underneath VWAP. And then that penny, remember that stock that was $3 that went to like 70 cents yesterday that halted a million times? That one we're still in. I actually trailed out of Nvidia when it broke trend, and it's still staying on trend. So super strong day in the markets. Bitcoin ultimately still hasn't gotten to 100,000. Like I didn't think Bitcoin would get to 100,000 before the open, but I did think it was going to happen after the open. So I'd say that's maybe a bit of a disappointment, but it's hard to be disappointed with the move up that we have. Like, yeah, 99.5 is still pretty much the high there. On IBIT, that's like 56.80 or so, but look out, because there's an upward trend happening. So you still could get a 100,000 break this afternoon. We locked and ready for it. It's be like 57 change on IBIT if we break 100K.
Yeah, we didn't. We stayed pretty long here. We still have, I'm going to load up the right chat here in a second. We're still in Nvidia. Nvidia's been a big one here, 350 now in the money. We were able to also, and we're going to talk, I mean, we're going to go through the rundown, everything. Welcome to the show. You guys are here for the first time. We're going to go over a couple stocks to talk about, but Nvidia right now taking out the day's high, up 3% rate of that area, so we're going to try to hold on to that long. Our out was Tesla 420. So again, and I tweeted this out as well. I made, this for me was the biggest Tesla trade ever for me. So it was a good one right up there into 420, able to hold that last little piece there. And that was a good one. It's bounced now off 420 a couple of times. We just really used 420 because it was 420. I mean, it was, you know, not much else, to be honest with you. It was a huge run up. It did fade that time. So put the order there, get filled on that trade. 420 there coming into play one more time for Tesla. So we'll see if that can keep going. And then, by the way, it's again, I know Neil's over there on QBTS, but the stuff that we did on Rigetti today just should be not allowed. Like right in there into VWAP, thank you, right? $1.50. Look what happened again. We bought it again at $10. Came back in, broke 10. We didn't take it that time. Gave ourselves a bottom, gave it there. Boom, goes the dynamite. It's Rigetti back there to the upside again. So, yeah, man. I mean, great afternoon, great midday, great show by the boys there. We'll take you into the close now. Not too many earnings tonight. We'll talk about some bank names maybe.
Yeah, it's there's some smaller names that report tonight. Of course, we'll go over anything that reports. Tomorrow morning is when it gets exciting again. TSM is going to report tomorrow morning. Morgan Stanley is going to report tomorrow morning. Bank of America. There's a couple of regional banks that I have not committed to memory that are also reporting in the morning as well. But I mean, TSM, United Health, and Morgan, those maybe BAC as well. But yeah, great run for the banks this morning. They blew out the numbers, and across the board, they look pretty good. You could make an argument about Wells Fargo. I think that would be reasonable, but like Citi, Goldman, and JP doing just fine. Marty, okay, so 420 has already broken, but we'll answer the question anyways. Do you like a 420 Tesla break? Thank you for the super chat, Marty. You know, just because an even dollar level, just very quickly, before I answer that question, QBTS has a W pattern here. What I simply mean is since it broke down off the opening range at 570, which was the pre-market lows, like it tagged once, bounced at 530, tagged twice, bounced at 530, and is right back up there again. So, I mean, it kind of looks like a W. I suppose that's why they call it that pattern. So it's about to revert trend, so I'm gonna get back into it. But for Tesla, one thing that's been a guarantee on Tesla for the last 2 days, and obviously it's in either direction, is at some point after 3 o'clock, it has just trended 15 to 20 bucks for the last 2 days in a row now. If it does something resembling that, there's only two ways it can happen. Either you revert the trend up and it pulls back, or you break out the top. The reason why I'm like, I don't like a breakout in the afternoon into overhead resistance. So like yesterday, it failed at 420 break with a 422 out there. So you're not really clearing out the highs if you break this high today. You know, like you're clearing out the highs if you break maybe 22 or 23. So I just don't like punching highs of day into overhead resistance because I think your your risk to reward tends not to be as good in a situation like that. Like a breakout in here is a bit different. It's like every single time, no matter what happens, it's like, get it, Sharif. I don't even know what Sharif just did, but Adara was like,
that's the joke. You say it when it means nothing.
Okay. No, he's tying
his... Adara, get it, Adara.
He's tying his shoes.
Hey, get it, Andre. Get it, Andre.
He's just... Yeah, you don't want to trip on your laces. You definitely don't want to do that. I keep knocking this bowl over.
All right. Sharif, you ready to get it over there? All right. Then... on to...
I'm not saying it.
On to Sharif.
I thought you were going to say, get it, Sharif.
No.
To extend the...
All right, guys, welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys were just making fun of me, but they're locked and they're loaded and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. So join Joe and I during the How to Trade show during the midday and get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. But it's a subs-only chat. Tell him, Randy. So you got to be a subscriber before you can vote. Let's look at the major averages. Yeah, he's pointing up because everything's up, baby, especially these major averages. We got the NQ leading the pack here, up 2 1/4, with the ES up 1 4/5, with the Dow up 1 3/4, and then the Russell 2000 knocking on the door of 2%. So a great day for these major averages. Let's look at the first ticker, though, as decided by you, being traded by the big boys. Rigetti up 22%. Good look today. Shares of these quantum companies are trading higher after Microsoft issued a statement to its business customers to get quantum ready, and Nvidia announced its first ever Quantum Day event, boys.
Everybody, we've had Rigetti on our mind for a while, right? This is not just like a flash in the pan type of name. We've been looking at this for a while. It was on the sticky note right there today. We talked about buying that $9 break or wait till VWAP, and that's exactly what wound up happening there. So for today's trade, again, you got to make the trade. And that's still TQQs. My bad. Oh, we did start shorting again right now the Nasdaq. That's what I wanted to talk about, but we can do that in a minute. This is what happened. So we write down, fade back into VWAP. We actually sat here and discussed this whole trade because we were surprised at the initial bump there when CPI came out right here. And that's where we were at 975. Then it just bumped up $1 on that. So we were like, you know what? When it opens up, we're going to have to play this, the regression back into VWAP. So we did that. It's pretty much, for me, it's like, well, the Tesla's the trade of the day. But this is like... genius to come right back into $10. We're lucky enough that we didn't chase it this way. We let it develop again, and then boom. It's just the stock. The stock held $10, and it held VWAP. So it's like, when these things happen, these things happen. So multiple dollars today on Rigetti. It's a big stock. I like it. I sold out in my position yesterday. We talked about that. It seems like that was going to be that's a mistake doing that. But yeah, all the way up to $10, $11. Rigetti another 22.5%. I like the stock. I said pick one today, and we did that. And Rigetti now P&L, I think 2 right there. So good job there for Rigetti.
Yeah, great job for Rigetti. I went QBTS today, and we stuck over-under at $6 on Rigetti. I mean, $5 was kind of an obvious level, but at the open, you were at $6. So what are you going to do? Like, you're not long off $5 unless you're trading it at exactly 6 a.m. This morning. But it did provide first early short, as there was a wath of sellers at the $6 level. It eventually broke it out. It came back, tested VWAP at $6. Went for the reloaded VWAP, that was negative, and then stopped it out under 70. Now it's got this, I'm calling it a W pattern because that's what it looks like, and I'm pretty sure that's, whatever. I'm not a charter market technician, but if a W pattern doesn't exist, then it should exist.
Yeah,
as far as
it's a pattern that looks like a W.
Exactly, right?
Who cares what everyone calls it?
All that matters is you got VWAP, 570, opening range, all of it is like lining up for resistance. So I just came back to this for the third time. It has managed to bounce off 530 a couple times here. And so QBTS, the other thing worth noting, it's regardless of how this resolves itself, yes, it's under VWAP and it's under resistance, but it's still up 19% despite the fact that it's been bearish since about 10:15 in the morning, and it's holding above this prior low and this recent resistance. So like on a daily chart, Like a close above 5 is bullish. Meanwhile, this afternoon, underneath 570 is bearish. If that makes, and hopefully that makes any sense. Time frame is going to matter here. I think I would feel a lot differently about the move in this quantum name on a daily chart more than I would, looking at it on a 15-minute. That doesn't look overly bullish on a 15-minute yet until it breaks out the 575, in which case I should still get the you-know-what out of Dodge.
Bitcoin still trading below $100,000. This is the chart on IBIT, up 3 1/5. Good look for the most of the market today. So it looks like BlackRock's head of digital assets, Robert Mitchnick, was chiming in earlier, basically saying there's been aggressive adoption so far by retail investors, but he's talking about these institutions guys, saying these guys are just getting started with Bitcoin.
I believe that. I mean, I don't know all the stories that are out there, but I think the proof is in the pudding right now with Bitcoin. I mean, it just did hold that great level of basically 90,000. I mean, here's a little bit of a chart. Get rid of that. Oopsies, don't mean to click on that advertising. Right there. So, yeah, we talked about it. There's the dip down. I mean, we've seen these levels before. You don't even have to go back that far. If you just go year to date here so far on Bitcoin, then you're going to be able to see, well, here, let's go a little bit larger than that so we can have a little bit more of a look at this. So here we go. So it's dipped into this area a couple times. We get all the way back here. We talked about that's November lows, right? And then into December lows, which was Christmas. So you go a month. That's November 24th. This is December 24th. And every time we've held this level. Last time we got a little bit of a scare. This is from, where is this? Bitcoin, Bitstamp? Oh, Coinbase, okay. So I guess it got flushed down there to 89,000 or something. So that was a great move on Monday the 13th, looks like. So 2 days ago, nice little flush down. But it looks like, I should probably put volume on here to see like really where it starts to capitulate. I'm going to do that actually. But this has been holding. So I just think that when you look at this, yeah, the next step higher, the next step up is around this 102, and then you look to break that. So I'd stay long Bitcoin here into 102. Makes sense to me. Your little island out there before this. So I would watch out, hold that level, and possibly get out of some. So the last time I had bought anything was at 94,000. I think it was right around here. It must have been right around Christmas because we didn't, or right into here. But that is Christmas. Right into here, and then boom. So I think that that's a decent out if you're scalping. But many people want to hold this thing for a long time. So you're looking for it to break through. That's the island up here, 102. So we're here now. I feel like you can get up there. It's only 3% more. That would be an area for me to look to start to trim some if you were on a swing trade. But yeah, great trade there. And I think Coinbase today as well, reaps the benefits of that move up. And I've already said that if you want to be into something and you believed in the crypto. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this name alone, 8%. I didn't even realize it was that high. This is one of my picks of the year right there for Coinbase. So a nice move right there, holding that 240. Nice upside move on Coinbase, up about $40 in 3 days. So again, this is like a levered Bitcoin trade as well. Every time Bitcoin is up, man, Coinbase just rockets. And then you also get the love of altcoin season. So I like Coinbase. It was why it's one of my picks.
Yeah, and MSTR maybe not faring as well. I feel like most days that we're bullish on Bitcoin, MSTR has a pretty outsized move. Only 5% for MSTR today. And before I get into Mara, I actually messaged this chart to Obi that it just feels really weird on MSTR because like I don't think I can remember a day where there's volatility is on in crypto and nothing is happening effectively on MSTR. Like it is a completely outside of at 8:30 when the numbers dropped, you have an exactly inside day. Like it's just held the low multiple times, it held the high multiple times. Now it's a $300 stock, so $8 is the effective range. Well, that seems like a lot, but it really isn't on a day like today. The only one that if it breaks in either direction, I think you have to respect it. That's the long and short of it. The only one that I played today was Mara. And I don't think that's like rocket science. The difference is, Bitcoin just kept pressing higher. Mara broke trend and got back underneath our resistance level, or at least at our 1820 level from yesterday. Shorted it once, held on the last 10% to see if it would break, and I had the same stop. This is almost that W pattern now that I look at it again, but it's putting in higher lows. So it's not the same low, higher lows into this top. So I haven't actually reloaded this because it feels a little bit strong here on Mara to go with that strength in Bitcoin. I'd much rather short Mara on a failed 100K break. Like if we get to 100,000, don't break out, and Mara hasn't broken out, then I'd much rather go back into this short trade. Let's get on to one of the good banks, although maybe not the best one today, JPM.
Certainly not percentage-wise, Neil, maybe institutionally. JPM up 1 3/4. Fantastic look for them today. They reported before the bell and it was beat everywhere. Whether it was EPS beating handily there, 481, the street was looking for 411, or whether it was revenue beating by $2 billion in revenue. The street wanted 41 billion. They printed 43. Good look, guys, but off the highs.
Yeah, like it's by far the worst of the banks that reported today, and it's up 2%. It's up 2%, and it's at a 52-week high, or all-time high. You know, like that's the extent to which the banks have done well today. Is that we said this yesterday, that JP Morgan is a boringly awesome stock. And so unless you were just layering in at the open, now the difference between, you can look back at this on JP Morgan and say, hey, look at that, like you're pulling right back in at pre-market lows. Remember, you have conference calls for all the banks happening in the pre-market going into the open. Goldman started at 8:30. So if you're on the bid of these, understand that you're getting comments coming from the CEOs and all that good stuff while you're trying to negotiate trades that algos can be reacting to. I don't like doing it. But yeah, unless you got that bottom, boringly awesome stock, I would venture to say this morning we said Goldman and Citigroup were the two best. And if you're going to play a long trade, Goldman numbers were fantastic. I mean, they were all good. But Goldman trend up. It had room to its all-time high. But the best part about it is we have a chance to break out today or tomorrow the highs in Goldman Sachs. That's at 613 change. I think we could see that tomorrow, especially when you have the likes of Morgan Stanley going to report tomorrow morning. That could help push Goldman Sachs through the highs, especially if the trading revenues, they got a big beat on trading revenues. And ultimately, unless Morgan Stanley is a complete crapper, I can see this breaking out tomorrow. But I'd be more interested in Citi continuation tomorrow, Goldman continuation tomorrow,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
than JP Morgan. You know, like JP Morgan's like Apple. You know, like Apple in the Mag 7, that's an own it, don't trade it kind of stock. And JP Morgan it's that for the banks. You know, nothing against it, but 1.7 versus like 5 to 7% all the other banks are. That reported today. I
mean, literally taking out those highs. We really like it. We like the setup into the quarter for JPM. So again, congratulations, anybody that was able to do that and make money, right? I mean, all these trades, like, it's one thing for me and Neil to sit here and like say, oh, it looks great. But I mean, someone's got to put on the trade. Like Citigroup up 7%. I mean, if you believed in this kind of a run in the banks, you might have chosen Citigroup. Citigroup looked like it wanted to break out right there. Plus, it was absorbing this 50-period moving average. So we talked about it earlier today. And I think we can now that look, not all reports are going to be the same. Not all banks are going to be the same. Not every technical situation is going to repeat itself. But there's the gap. There's it back into VWAP. There's the blast. There it is again. There. So, I mean, I think now, moving forward, when we get into those other banks, as Neil was talking about in the next couple of days, you know, maybe we wait for that. If they blow out or, you know, they're well received early, we can still have faith that something might happen. And then we can wait for VWAP to try it, give it a little bit of room underneath. So that was a good one right there for them. And then if we look over at JP Morgan, let's just play it. I haven't even looked over here to see if this is true. So let's now see what happened there. No, so much dirtier. But the thing about this was already messy right at the open at VWAP. So we didn't even really get a dip into there. This would be the first time that you may test it in and around 1041. But yeah, so that move didn't work out great again for JP Morgan. So like I said, every bank is going to be a little different. This just keeps on going. It looks like it wants to respect the 200 period right now. I'd say this is in play for a break long in the afternoon. Remember what we said this before? I think Adara mentioned something to me the other day about how like the trading is so much different in the midday than in the afternoon than in the morning. I think we can all understand it and realize that. So taking breaks right now when the market's kind of basing is a little bit of something. And I heard, again, shout out to Joe and Sharif, who, again, nailed it on the midday. They were talking about XLF. And I mean, I think that if there's going to be any ETF, we know that it's been super strong. I'll have to fix my mic. That it's been super strong over the last year. I think it was the second greatest ETF next to communications.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I pay attention to the Trader TV Live curated graphics that you can find at Trader TV Live Research.
Well, the other thing
on
too is,
X.
which everybody
Get
should.
it, Adara.
Which everybody should, because those graphics are absolutely fantastic.
And by the way, also get it, Fabian.
I wouldn't know what's happening in the Dow if it wasn't for those graphics. True story. What's the story? What is the story? I just heard Domino's is falling, which there's a pun. Like
Get it, Italians. I mean,
there's a
Domino's pizza. Let's go.
Yeah, but hold on a second. You guys don't like you like real pizza.
I think pizza is the greatest food of all time. I think people.
Correct, but if you had a Domino's slice and went to and like you handed it to someone,
No.
They would be like, take this crap out of my face.
It's not get it authentic pizza. It's just like get it Domino's. Like it's just like it's not. You know,
Domino's the type of place that puts pineapple on their pizza.
We have a Papa John's near us, and actually Papa John's isn't that bad. I don't mind. I don't know.
That I can 100% get behind that. Papa John's is pretty for a chain pizza. Papa John's is quite good. Domino's, I think Domino's used to be trash. They did a bit of a change a few years back, and I was like, yeah, they're much better than they were before, but they're down 1% on volume just now.
Oh my God,
Let's
Ryan
see what's
Fay.
going on.
No, not yet. Hold on a second. Ryan Fay here says he loves pizza and gyros too. Tonight, my daughter, we have a little celebratory. She wants shawarmas again. So it's a shawarma party tonight at the Katina household. So pizza and shawarma is hard to beat that combo. We will not have both of those, of course. But
why not? Why can't you have both?
She can have whatever.
On Uber Eats, they have that whole, when you order and they're like, yeah, you can double it up and order this with this.
Yes, and they say like without, pay no fees. And
for some reason, they always want me to get alcohol with an order. But let's go talk about Nvidia.
They know you're a trader, that's why.
But I never order alcohol from Uber Eats. So it doesn't make any sense why they do that.
Always ask for extra protein, guys, anytime I get a shawarma sandwich. You guys know that already. Nvidia up 2.9%, was taking out the highs not that long ago. Interesting chime in from Jensen today, basically announcing that they're going to have a quantum day. Putting their money where their mouth is. They're investing in quantum. They're hiring people specifically for their quantum department. But this is all after, a few days ago, he said quantum computing is 20 years away and single-handedly really dropped a lot of these stocks, QUBT, QBTS, RGTI, and many others, guys. So Nvidia up almost 3% on the day.
Look, I mean, so we'll talk about it. We're lucky enough to have just rebought this thing. Neil will talk about this trade. We basically had the same trade. It was falling back in. We had written down on here 133 long. So on today's sticky note, we have it written 133 long. Now, the thing was that didn't hold. So we tried it there. We were long in the pre-market, like on that. I was like, you know what? I like the stock long. It's ahead of VWAP. So we just kept buying, making some money. Then it fell through. Now we're like, okay, we've gotten run over before. We're on such a good streak right now. We're not going to lose $500,000. Like we're not going to get run over here in the first 5 minutes. So what we wound up doing is it's going to be sort of hard. We'll try to zoom in as much as we can. But I didn't really start buying until right in here. This was the first one. So we started. We let it drip through. We were able to buy near the 200 period in and around here 133. That's a little small takeout 133. Then we put a big order on and we're able to get some out. We still took a big hit on it. So it was still not good. When it broke through 132, we had to get out. This is just keystroke. I thought I was on Tesla's on the wrong stock. I put in the stop to go long again if we retook 132. Well, this is why we have to get out, guys, because no matter the share size you have, 10 shares, 100 shares, whatever, as it drips in here, you have to get out if that's your out. So we get out breaking, but then I was like, you know what? If that is the bottom, and you can see it's not like a capitulated bottom. It's not like there's tons of volume here. We just said if it breaks 132 again, let's go long again. So right into there's the 132 long break, and that's what we have on board right now. And as I don't know who says it, but the rest is history. We got a bunch out here at the high of the day, like a lot out, and this has been a big difference. Shout out to Adam DeLuce, shout out to everybody out there. The reason why we are able to do well is holding on for a little bit longer and then re-believing in your trade. And so we're still in this name. So that was a great out there. These were great outs. We have a very, very small piece, but we'll hold on to Nvidia, watching it just continue to go to the upside. I really like the stock. We'll be long this stock for a while now. I mean, I'm excited for them to release their quantum chip and that kind of talk and all that. Like, how crazy is that going to be that day? I don't know if we get back to 150 anytime soon, but we really, really like Nvidia, man. Nvidia longs, Tesla longs. Those are the two stocks I think I'll be long for a while now. And I hope you guys are enjoying the party.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I'm glad that Nvidia continued the party to the upside, because you saw this morning, what it did. I have 4 longs on Nvidia. I mean, technically 5 because you can include VWAP. And then I had an over-under 133, which I don't know that it never really set up the under unless you took the opening trade, which I was not inclined to take the opening trade to the south side. I need confirmation that you're making a reversal. I think I showed that with qubits. D-Wave. I called QBTS D-Wave qubits all the time. So when it broke...
Remember that game, Qbert?
I loved that game. Qbert was a fantastic game.
Yes, I'm here for that.
And look, at the end of the day, it can amount to the same thing, but it's followed a plan. It bounced off 133 instantly. That's the first thing that happened. So I'm going to go long there with a stop at prior high. It instantly stopped out. And I'm trading this off my level for more shares in there, so I'm down on the stock. We grab another long on the way back up. It holds VWAP. There's your confirmation. So grab the next consolidation up into the high. It retook 135 downside. I got out. Then I tried twice off VWAP. The first time, you can see it. Tried it on this hold of VWAP. We'll go with that break to that low. Doesn't work. It then holds, higher low, grab that one, and then played it back in till it reversed trend at 135. So for me, it was a green to red to green to red to green story for Nvidia. But it all worked off of the original. It was over $133. Therefore, I was only looking for longs in the stock. Ultimately, I still love it. I think everything about it looks fantastic. Maybe we'll have some kind of a checkup at the 50 period again. That would be nice. I think a consolidation off the 50 period would be a good opportunity for everybody at that 140 and just make another higher low. But yeah, great stock. AMD, by the way, AMD's breaking up, but I should go to, before we go back, just very quickly, Lunar got a NASA contract.
Everything is breaking up.
And yeah, it's breaking the high of the day. So I didn't see the sides of it. I'll get that to you after I can read it in a second. But Lunar breaking out, this might be worth joining. LUNR on its way back to the upside. All these charts look exactly the same. Pull back for 3 or 4 days, and now they're ramping. Let's talk some Tesla.
Tesla's flying right now, guys. About to take out 7% and take out 424. It's already taken out yesterday's high. Tesla on one right now, breaking out as we speak. Several headlines today for Tesla. Let's start with the first. They're suspending parts of their production line in the Shanghai facility. They're building the Model Y and the Model 3, the new Model Y, codenamed Juniper. It's going to be for a period of 3 weeks as they revamp the tools there. Separately, Trump transportation nominee says if he is confirmed, he will allow the Tesla autopilot probe to continue despite Elon Musk's association with Donald Trump and Barclays today maintaining equal weight on Tesla, but raising that price target to about $100 lower than we're trading right now, guys, $325.
All right, so just the story the same every time. And that is that we open up the watch list. On my way into work, I think about all right, what stocks do we want to look at today? And I sort of get in my mind, where do we think, from looking at the charts the night before, where do we think the stock market is opening? Are we going to be bullish? Are we going to be bearish? And then we look to see, are there some names that we can find some catalysts on? And then today, we wrote down the number one trade idea for today was long Tesla. We had the 401.50 break on momentum, but that already happened early. And we wanted to go long. We play the momentum long here in Tesla. So I'm very, very proud to say that I think it's probably, for me, the most amount I've made on Tesla pretty much in my career. So that fall into VWAP right there. So it's a big trade. That fall into VWAP right there. We really like the stock. I don't know, it was 405, 406. I think we must have had, I wouldn't have just layered into that many shares unless I had some kind of, I'd have to replay this. It might have been where VWAP was at the time. But anyways, it's a huge move. Their respected VWAP again. It respected the 200 period, and now it's gone. We had an offer at 420. We really took that. I like the stock. You got to believe in it. It's Tesla. It's your biggest winner in a hell of a long time. So that's what's up right there. So, if you're trading equity or options or anything, I hope you're with me on that. That was an absolute banger of a trade. And we don't talk about net, but it's X, the next best stock there today. So really happy with Tesla. And we had a great trade on SoFi too. We'll talk about that maybe when we're done this. But 230 right now. Let me pass over to this guy and see what he thinks about Tesla.
Well, Tesla, I tried not to break a rule today. If it was going to dip, I wanted 400 to 402. That was the buy zone. I had marked off. As it's falling, I didn't have an out down here. Maybe I guess 405. But that's you can play the hindsight game if you want, but that's out and about a little too far away from the support level. For me, yeah, you're right. Let me just...
Now we're back.
All right, I'll just a quick second here. So I didn't have any trades on Tesla. You have overhead resistance that it's breaking from yesterday at 422. The only thing that I'm still in is if you remember this WNW, I don't necessarily anticipate this is going to do anything crazy. But this morning I simply said if the stock gets to VWAP, because when it tanked yesterday and then this morning, all it did is respect VWAP in the pre-market. I simply said if it gets to VWAP, we're going to short it. VWAP happened to be at 40 cents, so I shorted it at 40 cents. I'm still bidding off the lows of the days. I had one reload in here that was at like 39.5 or something, but this thing rounds up anyways on our platform. So looks like our execution is back. If we break 40, that's breaking VWAP and I jump out of this thing. If it flushes again, I'll probably get out of this, or the majority of it, at the low of the day. It's Lunar that I'm looking at. I didn't see I know VSAT also had news as well, so I'm just gonna have to double check to see what the news was on VSAT. This was a much different than, like, Lunar was strong and then just had that NASA contract and is going higher. VSAT was getting destroyed all day long, and now it's absolutely ramping to the upside. So I gotta see what the story is here. I don't know what this story was on VSAT, because it must have happened literally exactly when we were rolling over. So I must have missed what's going on. I'll check the news for you guys on VSAT. But like when we're switching over, I feel like that one either didn't come up in my ear, either we didn't hear that one, or might have just missed it altogether.
What? FTAI?
Oh yeah, so this is
$100? What would it start stuff?
This is blocked for us here at Real Trade.
Right, okay.
So we actually can't trade this today.
Yeah, there's some up.
Or actually, no, at all. It's not for liquidity reasons. Well, this is blocked for us for like, it's like tax ADR nonsense or something like that.
What the hell is this stock? FTAI. It's a Muddy Waters thing. Yeah, okay, it's FTAI Aviation. There was a Muddy Waters. It just opened back up, so it is starting to come back in quite nicely right now. We're reshorting the Qs. We did take an L there when it broke through. I just want to give it a shot here. I feel like we may have been in this name just a little bit too early, so let's give it another shot here on the TQs up to 81.25. So here we go. We're talking about the stop. 81.10 right now. We're looking to get stopped out at 81.25 break. So that's basically the high of the day. We just tried it again, and we did lose 15 cents the first time when it did break through 81 because we started the short. I mean, you guys saw me when we started the short. No, not even 15 cents. That was 94s, 85s, 94s. So didn't even lose that much. Maybe 10 cents at that. So now it's coming back in. Let's see what we can do now with the TQs coming back just a little bit. I don't have any bids out, actually. Well, that's a lie. I do have a bid right here at $81 if that can come in. And then we are bidding some more at the 50 period, and then we'll see if it does dip down. But I don't think it's smart move. Like, this is one last try. This is not like layer into this thing at all. If the futures break higher, this is part of that risk to reward. We know how much money we made earlier. We know how much money we made yesterday on this name. Like, just because the trade is set up again doesn't mean that we like push all in on this thing. The Nasdaq's up 2.4%. Yesterday, when the Nasdaq was barely trying to figure itself out, that's when we took advantage of the tipsy-turvy. Today, it doesn't seem too much tipsy-turvy in this at all. So, yeah, so far so good here. Just really excited. I mean, I think every day we come in, I feel like I'm pretty excited. But at the end of the day, it's nice to see. And we talk about, like, never look at your 401k account. Well, today, I think it's pretty okay to do that. So we like that. What's up, Adara?
I just wanted to give you guys here some context on that VSAT and FTAI. So VSAT here, VSAT, Neil was correct. We did have a story coming out right at 2. I believe it came out at 2:01 p.m. here in Benzinga, winning a $4.8 billion NASA contract here for near space network services. So contract award here for VSAT. FTAI, as Sean said, was dropping there on a Muddy Waters short report. So FSAT and FTAI. A little bit of context there, guys. Back to you.
Makes more sense.
Yeah, the waters are muddy over there.
No, but that makes VSAT and that Lunar makes much more sense, because I was like, 4.82 billion contract. Intuitive's only 1.7 billion market cap. So there's 4.82 million in contracts that multiple companies are getting a piece of. So without any actual specifics as to who is getting what, I mean, I feel a little bit different about that LUNR. It's still good, but like, what the heck, man? Like, break it down for us so we know like who's getting who's getting what, because that's a significant portion of LUNR's market cap, if it's even a small fraction of it. Look, AMD has stopped moving. As the market continues to go higher, AMD continues to hold this 120 level. All right, like every time you say AMD or China, Sharif is gonna do some voices, so that's all I'm chuckling at. No, but it looks like we've stalled out here on AMD. Reverse trend, and I decided not to short it because I wanted to break up a little bit further. Let me go to a little further in the 15-minute. Like I was looking for it to start to fill a little bit more of this gap and then revert. So this time, it doesn't go. So if the market's continuing to go up and AMD is holding at 120, they have a 120 quarter top or 120.21. So give it to 120 quarter, which I will put in now. I'm going to look to short this one. I didn't do it yesterday at 120 because it didn't get to 120. I didn't do it today because I thought we could press a little bit higher. I don't know what just happened to the screen there. You get a little double action.
Ooh, I like the double action.
It's only on the program. So I'm going to try shorting it in front of 120, but give it to the high of the day here in advanced micro devices. And just to see what happened on LUNR, I think the second people realize that, hey, they're not getting all of this. It's not just them. LUNR pulled back. And VS and VSAT, VSAT's holding the highs very well. But I think part of the difference is VSAT was bleeding. So there's probably some shorts that have to unwind, which I think makes them a little bit stronger. So sometimes you let the price action dictate which one of these two to trade. VSAT holding highs, LUNR pulling back. Before I liked LUNR better because of just where it was in the daily, but now I like VSAT a little bit better as long as the volume can hold on to it. So we're into the short on AMD. We're giving it to the high of the day. I'm going to double check back to see what Tesla is doing. 425 maybe? Wow, where does this local high on Tesla? Let's see what we got here. 427.
What? Oh my God.
Well, it's not. What is that wick? I'll get rid of that in a second. I'll zoom in here. Yeah, 427 is this local high. 426 and a half, 427. Looks like that's going to be the next resistance spot for Tesla. Elon, the momentum, I don't disagree that the momentum is strong, but from an R&R from here, it's 25 cents worth of risk. For it to make any kind of a pullback into this yesterday high, right? Into almost like 119 even. I don't disagree with you that on a higher time frame, if I was looking at this on the daily chart, like that's for tomorrow anyways, that's a hold of the August lows, a regain of the August lows for like a third time in here, and then maybe a little bit of a trend reverse back into the top. I don't disagree with that, but just for the risk to reward trade here, I don't want to be long underneath it. And Danny, we can take a look at MSTR for sure. I still think that stock doesn't make much sense today. I said this one is perplexing. I'm not touching it. I don't understand how we can have this much strength into 100,000 and MSTR gets to 355, dead hold, 363, dead hold, and it was one clean move, and that was the reversion off the high of the day. Like, I think that's the only trade where I could look at that and say, yeah, there's a trade. You know, there's your VWAP hold, get to the top, reject the top, and revert right back down in. Outside of that, I feel like MSTR has been a little bit of a trap. Maybe some accumulation happening. That kind of a pattern is good if it breaks out after a couple of days, because that means someone's just loading up, waiting for it to go.
Okay, so yeah, we'll have to slap a fail there. Again, fine. We'll be down like, again, maybe 10%, no, a little bit more, but 15% of what we made on Tesla there, just on the TQs, or not even, what am I talking about, that last trade there? No. But there it is right there. We did get stopped out. Although, we got stopped out at 81.25. I don't want to just keep putting these things back on because I like them. I mean, you could take multiple swings at it. I mean, I don't know exactly. We talked about this yesterday where we got off of it basically the same time, and then we went over and shorted Apple, and then the market really came back in. But yesterday was a little bit of a different day. I don't think going short, I mean, I still don't mind doing that trade. It's just, I got stopped out now twice in a row, and it was basically, at decent levels, and we didn't wind up losing much. So maybe we could put it on one more time. All right, let me just regroup on that thought. All right, so my next thought would be this. So I was looking at Starbucks, and I was looking for a name that potentially was going to break through a VWAP, and that had maybe been struggling so far today. Starbucks only up 0.36. So obviously an opportunity to go long here if it does break that. And you also are dancing with this 93.50 area that's, held, fell down, came back in, held again, fell, based out, base to 50 period, base 200, and now trying to take out VWAP. So I'm going to punch this long if we do take out 50s. I know VWAP's at 45. You could take it if you want it there. Oh, nikes. We would have been up on TQs now. All right, small trade then. Small trade here at 107. That's too bad. We had really... we didn't get a lot of shares, but we had gotten some shares there. We would have took some out. We talked about bidding $81. Our average price was about 16s or so. So, all right, darn it. Now we're short at 7s. Not a great one. I am going to give it back to the high, but again, probably not. If we average it, it'll be one more time, and it'll be probably like right here at 20, then we'll give it to 30. So I'm not going to, I'm going to let this one fly. Like if we can get down into $80.90 or something like that, then we'll start to cover and then maybe be flat on this trade. But for right now, put a bid out here. If we get something, we were just minutes away.
Give it the Choco try.
Yeah.
You said schnikes, man. So.
Oh yeah. There used to be a trader on our floor that was.
She refused to curse, so she would never swear.
Well, she was also very.
But
childlike.
Yeah, like some people. She had a stuffed animal that was called Choco, which was affectionately like a kind of mascot that oftentimes would go missing as a bit of a side joke on the floor, but she'd say things like schnikes and schnickles. And every now and then you'll hear us say that instead of cursing, because we're not supposed to on YouTube, apparently. Although I was once privy to there's like a list of things you can and can't say,
right.
And you'd be surprised. Some of those curse words are not high on the list of things that'll get you demonetized. Yeah. It's other more, when you think about it, more obvious stuff that you can't say that I obviously will not now.
Like this and that and this.
Yeah, those things. It's okay.
Like this, that, and like this.
Okay, so VSAT just made another fresh high. That's much stronger than Lunar, almost no question about it. We just jumped into AMD. It's trying to break. It broke trend a while ago. Like if I was taking a trend break, you'd be sitting in this trade at the exact same price for an hour when it broke trend. But the market kept breaking highs and it kept holding the same level. So we shorted here at 90s, and we're looking for a pullback. If it gets to VWAP, I think you got to be happy with VWAP if you get it on a stock this strong. So we'll definitely take that. SOUN might be moving, but it is VSAT and that NASA contract that has me interested. Come on, volume. I want the volume to come back into this. It's already starting to dry up. If the volume doesn't come back in, I don't know if the high break is going to be any good on VSAT. What else we got? Is there something else moving? Let us know. And Curtis Cash, it was not Miss V. Sometimes, like, we'll tell a story. Like, believe me, if it was somebody that was here since we've been doing the show, we would just tell you. So if we're like, yeah, this is way before any of that. I don't even want 10 years ago? I don't know. Maybe even more than that. Maybe 15.
Yeah, make trading great again. Okay, so yeah, Miss V, will love to have her. Maybe we'll phone her up and see what she's up to. All right, $80 and... we just took some out there at 97 cents. I am waiting for bigger here at 95 cents. So that's right where the 50-period moving average is. That's really too bad, man. Like I said, we were minutes away from not having that happen, like literally 1 minute away. And I was almost going to cancel, but then I felt to myself, like, we're just doing it again. Like we're just shorting name, or not again, but it's like that's when I lose, is when I get maybe too much confidence, and it's like, okay, no, this has to go, and it's called being stubborn, and we don't want to do that. So we'll bid some more out here at O's if we can get it, and then because I don't know if it's going to bounce. I don't want to just scalp out. I've gotten out of 2% so far on that fill. We'll get out of another 2% right now. I'm trying to do that instead of like 10% every time, just so we can hold on if we're right. But then sometimes that backfires, because if this was 10 or 15% right there, which it was not, then we would have obviously been a little more happy because we could reload it in and around now. But okay, here we go. So far, so good. So that's the TQs. We're going to average it up into that high. We just bounced off the 50 period, so not really loving that. We still do have our Starbucks idea to go, so let's just check back on that. There might not be enough caffeine to get this name going, but at the end of the day, like, I still think it's worth it. If it does break 50s and falls back in, you know, the worst case scenario, I think, is that we would be able to hold this to 35s, 36s, like 15, 20 cents. I mean, that's the 50-period moving average. So a failed VWAP break maybe retests that. So I'm pretty comfortable with that amount of risk on no matter the shares. It doesn't even matter however many shares it would be. 15 to 30 cents, or 15 to 20 cents, sorry, on a Starbucks play that I don't mind. I think that's okay. And again, just breaking right there. I don't know why it's so down today, to be honest with you, but you know, let me check out Bros here a little bit. Both these names won't trade necessarily the same. Let me just see if there's something up. We could, okay, so this name's negative as well. I mean, that could be a break right there too. Oh man, I better stop looking at all these names or I'm going to take too many breaks. What's going on with McDonald's? So used to invest in this name and had a huge run, and I got out of it because I was trying to diversify a little bit. And then McDonald's, okay, so still same type of thing. So some of these restaurant stocks here today don't seem to be too hot fire. That is for sure, with McDonald's being only 0.32 and Starbucks. So we'll still think about that. Our trade is in there. If it does break, that'll be the next one that we have. So we'll just rest right now. The futures is right back to flat for us. So yeah, not much going on. We'll average back into 20, and then we're out if that breaks that high of 31s. So we're out of this if it does take the high again. Just bounced off the 50-period. Not a great sign. As we just, you know, again, we're still in that relaxing mode. We've had a big day. Doesn't mean that we're going to stop. Let's just keep going. Find the best opportunities. We're waiting for that Starbucks.
Yeah, good. It's a good look to look at on a day like today. You want to see what's going and what's not going. Especially, you don't get a lot of 2.5% days on the NASDAQ. So on those days, you want to take stock of the weak names and of the especially strong names. Just a quick answer to stoic sobriety. Yes, Canada does have a stock market. I feel this.
Someone did not ask.
Yes, it got asked. I feel the same way. I was in Florida like years ago, and I was at like a church. It was like sort of after church on a Sunday with my aunt, and they had like a picnic at her church. And I'm sitting down and I'm talking to a few older ladies. You know, probably in their 70s, and they were just chatter like, "Yeah, where are you from?" Like, you know, I'm from Canada. You know, my aunt lives down here in Melbourne, and they're like, "Oh, Canada, eh? Do you guys have your independence from Britain?" I'm like,
"Nope,
independence." And of course, I was so polite. You have to be polite in a moment like that, but I was just like, really? Yeah, you know, 120 over 100 years ago, yes. Yeah, so we have our own stock market. Oddly enough, there are opportunities in Toronto. You know, whether it's Shopify, with the day that there was the holiday, the US holiday, and I'll get to Wolf in a second, you could have had a banger when Bitcoin was moving on Hive. Hive was moving, Hut 8 was moving as well. So there's lots of names in Toronto that you can play into. So Wolf has been making some power moves all day. A lot of people have asked us about it. So suffice to say, this one is a reversion of multiple moves to the downside. So this has done it before. Will it carry through this time? I don't know. You tell me. But suffice to say, it's usually needed more than a day to figure out whether a bounce is real. The last time it had a real bounce, look at it, the 50 period. Break the 50 period, consolidation day, then a breakout. That's the kind of pattern that gets me excited about a stock like this. But a nice little day one runner. I guess if you hold up here, break $8 or break $8.20, that 50 period looks a lot better than the general trend of the stock, which would suggest someone's leaning on this thing every single time it pops. You got to be careful with those. You know, like these hedge funds that are short stocks like this, if they're not covering, there's limited multi-day upside. Like the multi-day upside for those where you can really swing is when they go multiple days in a row. And they break out massive levels. So
yes, sir.
AMD starting to come back. I am now in VSAT to this 810 level. We just essentially very non-scientifically grabbed 820 to give it to 810 because that's where the consolidation was on VSAT. And then AMD is the only other thing that we put on. AMD it tried to get back to 120. Now we're right back at the 119.70 level again. So maybe we should take some out in that 70 if that's where it wants to hold. And that FTAI, we'll keep looking at it, but like I said, we can't trade FTAI. It's making some crazy moves. Like every time it bounces on a big volume candle, like it bounces like $15, like $15, but we can't touch it. Like I can't put an order out. So
yeah.
We'll let you guys know if something crazy happens or if it halts. I can tell you what the tap value is if it were to halt. Oddly enough, somehow it managed to not halt when it dropped from 155 to $90, but we can't trade it today.
All right, so my hands are on the keyboard here as we watch out for these TQQs finally starting to get to the downside. So we'll go, let's go if we can get a little bit of a flush now. And as I said, man, sometimes, and I was debating it live on the air. You heard me go back and forth with myself there. I was like, do we want to take this? Should we take this? What do we want to do? And unfortunately, I convinced myself not to take as many shares on that reload. And we took it late, too. That's even the worst part about it all, that we had it a lot earlier than this spot. And unfortunately, we wind up taking it just a bit late on the TQs. So that was a great move. We got out of many more shares now down there. We are now out of 30%. So we still do have, a little bit of an opportunity here, I feel like, to get some back in. So good trade there on the TQs. We'll wait. Just a good cover underneath the 50-period moving average as we just sort of let this day go through. All right, Nvidia, pretty big fail, right? I mean, it's going to be, no matter how much we have, I'm going to get out here at the 200 period, breaking through 135. I mean, the stop on this initially was just down here. This is a 10x or something trade. 134.99. And again, it's just about the shares that you have left, right? Who cares about if we're holding this, we're not holding this? It's like, it doesn't matter. It's all about what you're doing now and how you're reacting to your current positions, not to the positions that you've been having on for a while, right? So I want to talk about, Jesus, no. Oh my. All right, oh Canada. We don't have SoFi here. But wow, right there on SoFi. Why did we get out? We bought this name 3 times. This time we got overfilled and we just got out immediately. I'll show it to you. The trade right there. It came up to view up and we got out. We loaded this thing at 15 right there. We got it twice. Boom, boom. We actually, even before we left you guys on the midday show, we don't have any red names today besides the futures, and we'll see, maybe. But right there, load it, boom. And then we got overfilled here, so we had to get in and out. But it came up to view up, and I was like, you know what? We'll just take it out. With the amount that we had, we'll take it out there at view up. Only notice that this just happened up into the high of the day. And again, if you're going to look at, for trade ideas, we have here Tesla long. Told you, the number 1 P&L name, not even. Rigetti long, right there, number 2 P&L name. SoFi, I'd have to check, but it's a green name, obviously, on that one. And then Nvidia long. So far today, every single trade that we have on here is a green opportunity for us. So we had it, we traded it properly. There goes SoFi to the upside. Congratulations, anybody that tailed that play. You win there on SoFi, and we all win. So good move there, up 6.5%, 7%. Again, trade the names with the momentum. And yeah, so some of you guys were asking about green or red on the day. I just told you no red stocks. So I'll be green, and we'll just continue to watch out to see what's happening right there. We could be red on the futures. We did talk about that. So we'll wait to see position pending where that one goes. But for right now, Rigetti's still $1. Nvidia, we have our stop. I think it's probably a break long through 136. So I'll just quickly before I throw it back, I just want to see, okay, wow. All right, see what I'm saying? We just saw this right there now. All right, so maybe it's a breakthrough. What price is this? 136.30. All right, let's try a little bit if it goes through 136, just on some momentum. Maybe a pullback into 135 would be, maybe we'll load up at 135 instead of punching out. All right, let me think about what we're going to do here with Nvidia. The problem is if I'm going to be short the futures, I'd rather have this trade settle out before I punch long on Nvidia. So, all right, yeah, just going back and forth with myself here. So. Self, what should I do?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to the super chat from Jackson McBride. Yeah, it's not the first time. We appreciate you, Jackson. But you say Weemy is going to $7 this year. It is a crap pump and dump ticker, but it is still going 7x this year. So it's a weird thing to say, Jackson, that it's a crap pump and dumper, but it's going to go to 7. Anything can happen. You want to make sure that you've got a catalyst. Like why is a stock that is on a day where everything is getting bids, load up. Okay, there we go. On a day where everything is getting big bids, this one is kind of languishing still. Like, yeah, okay, it bounced off $1. I think we might have mentioned this when it bounced off $1 before, now that I think about it. But yeah, I'm not sure what the catalyst is going to be for Weemy Hologram Cloud. One of those Chinese names. Small, look, it's got a pretty small market cap. I actually don't have data on the size of the flow for this one. I'd have to check a secondary source to be able to get that. But yeah, be careful with these. I think when you take shots on them, they are what they are. You know, if it bounces off $1, look at all of the support it has at 60 cents. So if you're risking 40% on something like this and it has a chance to double or triple, like that's not I just have no idea what the catalyst could possibly be for this thing. WIMI. But good luck, Jackson. Appreciate the super chat. Let's go to Adara.
Just to let you guys know, we actually have a new post available here on TTV Research, and we're going to take a look here basically at these EV sales in 2024. This is actually mentioned in the watch list this morning, so make sure to check that out. But Tesla having the top 2 best-selling EV models in the U.S. last year, the Model Y making up 43.9% market share out of the top-selling EVs, Model 3 taking up 22.4% of the top 10 market share, and Cybertruck actually coming in 5th here. So these are the top 10 best-selling EVs, kind of visualized in a pie chart so you can see their market share relative to the other names in this group. Ford is represented on here a couple times. Rivian, the R1S, is number 10 here. So check this out on X at TTV Research. Lots of fun graphics on there, guys. Back to you.
So the problem with the wife watching the show is like now she thinks we're just going to be getting a Rivian. She's like, oh, I see those trades. Maybe we'll have to be getting into a Rivian. But we drive the Atlas right now. We really love that car. It's been a great one for us. So Volkswagen for now, Rivian probably sooner rather than later. So we'll wait to see on that one because I did hear that we are getting a charging station down there. So we'll be taking maybe advantage of that.
What, that's official?
Well...
Oh.
You know, I try not to break things until they're official, but yeah, that's probably...
I've heard the chat.
But you know what? The thing about it is like, not that much. I mean, I drive 11 kilometers to and from work. Like, and I already told you, the minute that gas becomes a problem for me, then I have much bigger problems on my mind. So we'll wait for that. And, you know, again, I think it's about time. Most people will probably be switching into EVs, their next cars. So that's kind of where we are with that one. And she really likes the Rivian. I think it's too long and boxy for me, but... you know, all this
I like it.
Have nothing to do.
I like the Rivian. I don't know, I'm boring. I think because to me, like the family vehicle, like we have a Jeep, and then I have like the Audi, which is for jetting around, which isn't really jetting around. It's going to the station and back and taking my daughter to baseball, soccer, gymnastics, which she's no longer doing now, basketball. But like it's like little around the town. That's where I think I want to get an EV. So like I'll probably be more in the lines of getting a Tesla, because I just need something small, something easy. Just very quickly.
Well, yeah, you have the A whatever, small. I mean,
yeah, literally, it's like it's an A3. Like if there's somebody else in the car with me, it is my daughter going. Right. Like when I'm just taking her to sports. If the family's going, I'm never taking that vehicle anywhere else. You know, it sits in the garage most of the time, or it sits at the station for my commute. VSAT's what I was going to get. Someone's like, "Why did you like it?" Bull flag. So once it confirmed the bull flag, simply went long in the middle, giving it to that prior high. Now, the problem with it right now, and I think we sort of alluded to this, it's not worth a hold for more range when after the news, the volume really tapered off on this. That's what I don't like. So holding on to it out of the hope, not going to be a fan of doing that when the volume has completely dried out of this. I did like it better than Lunar. At first, I liked Lunar better. And then it just held up much better, and Lunar's got a wilder range, but just like VSAT, news came out, follow through a little bit non-existent in volume there. Or Alpha is how much in the money on FTAI? Good one. Careful with this one, right? Obviously, muddy water short seller report. It just bounced off $100 on FTAI to get into 1.9. It does look a little bit strong. We've seen this before. Once you make a bottom after a short seller report, remember how this works. Muddy waters probably, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to suggest they're probably short up here, right? Like up at the 170 level. Like you're not short when you drop the report.
Nope.
You're usually short out in front, and then you drop the report. So they're deep in the money. That's the 200 period. You go all the way. If you zoom it way out and go right back into like the big pullback events, like the last time it did some extreme things at these prices, it was right in around $100 that it kind of jumped. Like it bounced off the 100 period, the 50 period moving average the whole way. But yeah, I could see this one catching a bit of a bid. I have like a rule for these short seller reports. If it makes a definitive bottom in the first day, holds that bottom and breaks the first resistance level, go long. If it does that for 2-3 days in a row, it's just like as long as within that first week, if it holds a definitive bottom, which one day you can't prove that yet, and then breaks out a local high, just go for the long. And all the better if it's in a really good company. Square was a perfect example of that a couple of years ago. It was an easy long you could just take into your personal account, which oddly enough, still has some shares from when I did it. It's what happens when you turn a trade into a hold. Thanks, Square.
Yeah, Square went from like $35 or $36 up to 300 and something.
Did you hear this thing about them changing their symbol?
Someone said XYZ or something?
Brendan mentioned this to me, and I'm like, they're changing their name to XY, their symbol to XYZ, which I think is the dumbest thing I've heard in a long time. Why would block, whatever, it doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, that would be like what I'd like to hear is like why, but
somebody explain that nonsense to me.
Our airport code is YYZ, so. Yeah, so, okay. Yeah, that does not make too much sense to me either. Oh, we're on Nvidia, my bad. I wanted to show you the TQs. So there it is. So we, I thought I was, yeah, so that's it. So we get filled there. So we didn't take too many more shares up. I thought I had a little bit more of an offer there, but I guess I did not. So it doesn't change our average price that much. We put a little bit more there. I meant to get about half more back. I forgot that we'd gotten out of some, so we can afford to sort of build this back. All right, so we only got a little bit up there at 81.20. We had mentioned that we wanted a little bit more than that, but unfortunately I didn't have the right amount of shares. But there it is right there to the downside. So, okay. Anyways, nice little reload there. Gave us a little bit of a better price. Sense. We're now short at, what was it showing me at? 08. Yeah, so it's 08 and change. So I just want to give you the right trade. So there it is. Wish we would have had our normal amount there. Our average price would have been like 14s or something then. So it's not like it's that much of a difference right now. Okay, so there goes BTC right now trying to break through 100,000 right now. So I think that that's going to be a trade on IBIT, right? If that does wind up happening, then let's go. Giddy up on that one. It will be the trade that most people are going to look at, I would think anyways, is this break on Bitcoin through 100,000. So if IBIT continues to go, there it goes right now, 57, 58. There's 100 right on the knot right now for IBIT. So I think let's try it. Let's just punch in a little bit here, see if we can play just a little bit of momentum in this name. We'll see if
MSTR went.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Like exactly. We'll just see where it wants to go now. I'll punch in a little bit. That high up there is O's. So we'll give it a little bit. It just broke 100. I saw it right there. So we'll punch in a little bit. Just get a little excited on that. Okay, that's all right. It's a starter position. We could probably hold it back to the 50. Well, oops.
You have us over 100K. I have us under.
What's under right now? Yeah, it broke 100K though. I saw 100. I saw that on the chart there. All right, hold on a second there. All right, let's load this up. Come on, my God.
All right, MSTR didn't break.
There it is. Okay, so that's still square. So here's IBIT. So right now, again, we'll just, come on, load. We'll play it back to the 50 period. So we just wanted to punch it just to see, all right, where is the 50 period? 70. All right, nice little drop in into 80. We'll double up our position right now on this if we can, and then we'll watch out for that 70 position, and then get a little bit more down there. And then if it breaks, 70s, maybe 60s. What is that level? That's 70 exactly. What is that? 60s? Yeah, so what about a breakthrough of 60? So we'll put our stop in at 56, 59 or so on this name. Let's just see. We want to play momentum names, so I'm fine with this. We obviously got a little excited when we saw it break. Let's wait to see what happens now on BTC and IBIT. So an early position on this break for sure, but here we go. Let's wait to see what winds up happening on that one. I mean, I saw 100 on here. Obviously, it's going to be different.
No, I checked my chart. It did. It broke.
Yeah. And again, like whether or not it... Yeah, like whether or not it breaks or not, I mean, it's not, I'm not in a huge position here. We should probably be playing back to the 50 period anyways. So let's wait to see what happens right now with Bitcoin.
So I said if we broke 100K and got back underneath it and Mara didn't break the high of the day, I would short Mara, which it also so happens in that moment, which it happens here, like it's testing trend. If you go from VWAP, it's slightly breaking trend, but simple, it went over 100,000 and then right back under. There's a local high. If it breaks that local high, I'm out. That's 1842. Love the number. If it breaks that, I'm out of the trade. So I'm short here at 34, actually 34 and a quarter. And if it breaks that high, we're going to jump out of it. Let's see if we can get back into VWAP. I went immediately over to MSTR to see if it broke the high of the day. MSTR went right to the high of the day when Bitcoin broke 100,000 and didn't break. So that means if we retake 100,000, I think you get an MSTR break at 364. So MSTR is still lined up for a breakout. If we go through 100K and there's a 364 break to be had on MSTR, I'm going to go ahead and take that. AMD, same range, 120 to 117 and a quarter. It's now come back and forth a couple of times there. Maybe it just doesn't want to move. We're in a power hour, and this is just being kind of barcoding within this range on AMD. But you're going to have eyeballs on, obviously, Bitcoin and MicroStrategy trying to take out the highs here. It's been holding a bull flag since 940, which is wild. Same range, same top, same bottom, within like a couple of cents here on MicroStrategy after what was a crazy ramp yesterday in the afternoon. Obviously, it reverted it too, but you can see what happened when it broke VWAP yesterday. Like it just, when it gets going, there's no stopping MSTR when it gets going.
All right. Yeah. Look, so we have more than eyeballs on Bitcoin right now. We are in Bitcoin, and there it goes right now. Nice little 10-cent winner, and this is what we're talking about, man. Stay with me, guys, and we'll have winners together, I hope. Here we go. So nice little average price. We put on the exact same amount of shares at the bottom as we did at that top. So here we go again, man. We're doing it right now with Bitcoin. So here we go, man. I want to welcome everybody to the stream. You're with me now, and so far, so good. As there it goes. Let's go, IBIT. Nice little move to the upside right here. As we start to get some more out, we're long at 82s. This is a real price, guys. So let's wait to see if it can come back to the upside now with crypto. There's 100. There's the break right there, right now. So we'll wait to see if we can get that going, guys, on BTC. So let's go right now. Hopefully we can get that break now long on IBIT. So we're long right now on this name. We're 20 cents, in the money there, up at 56. We're long at 82s, whatever it is, 14, 15 cents. There it is, Joe. We did break 100K right now on the space. All right, so we're already out of about 45% of that trade. Let's see if it continues to work. I see here in MSTR.
Yeah, we just got, wow, back and forth. I'm looking at Binance here. So, if you're looking at something different for Bitcoin quotes, like it could be different, but we're back and forth above 100 several times in the last minutes. I mean like 3 or 4 from what I saw, but 364 did break. That's a local high here. It just went halves and then to the even dollar. Let me just go to a 15-minute chart so you can zoom it out a little bit here. As long as we can stay above 100,000, that's 370. So I think 370 would be a reasonable spot to be able to get to on MSTR. Obviously, Mara is under threat of breaking that top, although it hasn't done it yet. So Mara said if we broke 100,000 and came back underneath, I would do a mean revert on Mara, but that doesn't mean I'm holding it past the local high. So if it breaks out, it's 9 cents worth of risk on Mara, and we'll jump right out of the trade. AMD, I don't know if I want to reload. I want to reload a short when Bitcoin's breaking out. Answer is going to be no. So I'm not gonna reload the short in AMD unless we get some kind of a pullback in the market or a pullback on Bitcoin. Momentum is momentum, and momentum can join the upside trend when Bitcoin makes a move like this. So MSTR, we're into it. Let's see what can happen elsewhere. I know that Wolf stock is moving around, but you got to watch out for anything Bitcoin related, whether it's Coinbase, whether it's Bitcoin itself, whether it's going to be Riot, Mara, Hut, all of those good things. Hive as well. Shout out to them.
All right. Yeah, shout out to everybody for sure. Thank you, everybody, for watching us, man. I mean, we're doing the best we can with the best that we can. E-Signal, everybody, just make sure you keep on this party with us, and you'll have a lot of fun as we do every single day. I mean, here we go, guys. It's another one. It's a big one as well right now on IBIT. So continuously going higher. We talked about that. We said the better trade was waiting for that. We got excited. We did punch in. We did double down down there as there it goes again. It is BTC. Baby, and it continues to go to the downside. The problem is, as that's going down, this be going up, as IBIT goes up and Bitcoin goes up, the futures will not go down. So we'll have to wait to see on that one. We've talked about that relationship many times. So I don't know, man. We're still going to get stopped at the high of the day. That's going to suck. I mean, feel better about it because at least we've got the Bitcoin move, and at least that's okay. But yeah, futures right there. We've just been fighting this top. And again, you saw me yesterday. This morning we had 300 handles or something, or yesterday on this play as well. So I think there's a lot of potential here for the Qs to make that move down. But we're getting close right now just to getting out. I mean, if Bitcoin's going to hold 100, honestly, this is going to take out the day's high. So I think we're pretty good. We're not necessarily, levered on this. Like, we haven't done exactly the math here to figure out what is what. But we're going to get some more out on IBIT at 03. So there it is. Just in case we do fall back, let's get a little bit lighter. We have less than half left of our position. Now 30 cents in the money on that. $4 in the money on Nvidia as well, as that makes a move. It does not break through 135. That was going to be our stop zone. We're long at 132. So this is almost $4 in the money to go with our $1.20 on Rigetti, which is real nice. Thinking about getting this out, $11.50 is my out for Rigetti. I mean, wow, what a reload on that one. I mean, this is a $10 name. We took $1.50 there, and we're about to take $1.50 again on this name. So it's like 30-40% alone on 2 different trades here for RGTI. So we'll get that out. We'll put an offer. It looks like there's a big size here at 30. Maybe we get out now. We'll see.
Yeah, well, obviously we'll see. And as long as Bitcoin holds 100,000, I think we're going to be good to go here. Just let me know whenever, Fabian. So just a couple of things. I said I'm not reloading. I'm not reloading on AMD. I think that was obviously the right call. It's about to take out that high of the day. Unless it pops the top and then instantly drops or fails the high, got to let it do some kind of a reversion. You want to have rules for an entry, especially if you're going against the grain. So we said Mara as well. We were going to just one more thing.
Oh,
Mara,
Bitcoin.
if it breaks that, we get out. So 1 entry, 1 out. Let's go MSTR as it just broke 365. If it gets to 369 change, I am 100% jumping out of the trade. It did a monster mean reversion in the afternoon yesterday. Shout out to Prop Firm Match, which I think obviously anybody out there, if you want to search for the right prop firm for you, you're going to want something like this tool. Because you're a skilled trader and you're looking for capital, well, these guys offer the opportunity for you to trade with simulated funds, allowing you to showcase your skills. That's what a prop firm is all about. Access account sizes anywhere from 5K to 500K, and you can start with as little as $20. But with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find which are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match steps in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payment histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payout histories, and discover the best current deals all in one place. Scan that QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today and find the perfect prop firm for yourself. Shout out to them. Check the link in the description, I believe, as well for that information. Shout out to Prop Firm Match, everybody. And those payouts are important because if you can't get paid, I can tell you right now with real trading, they never missed a payout. You know, I'll tell you straight up. And that's one of the things that it matters. You know, it's always, you always want to be able to get that profit, not just in the bank, but make sure you can get it on a monthly basis, whatever it might be. Let's go to Adara for some news at the desk.
Keep an eye here on MET. This one got a pretty intensive volume spike to the downside. MetLife, seeing some comments here on X. Apparently, a significant data breach has surfaced, and it's reportedly involving MetLife. This was a 289 gigabyte database that was apparently breached, and the leak does apparently have some concerns over misuse of sensitive information. So keep an eye here. MET had that drop there on a potential data leak or breach, guys. Back to you. And we are brought to you, sorry, before we do that, in a second, we will be taking a moment to thank our friends at Worksport, but you keep an eye here in MET, some clear resistance at that 85.40 level, so that could be technical level to watch out for. With that volume to the downside, trying to bounce a little bit right now, rejecting off that previous support level of 85.20, so certainly some things to keep an eye on here on the day. Lots of news, of course, moving on the day, and right now we'll thank Worksport. Introducing a new discovery in the NASDAQ, Worksport, ticker WKSP. Worksport is a U.S.-based manufacturer and rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP. Discover the future of clean energy with Worksport.
Thank you very much, to Adara. Brent Roth, I don't wish that's how it worked. But I know you're enthusiasm for Tesla, but it does not halt if it goes up 10%. So Brent Roth, 10% up.
Down?
No, if it went up 10% in a specified amount of time, in rapidly in 5 minutes, although I say that with a bit of a caveat because I can't tell you the number of times I've been sitting there staring at a stock that clearly should have halted on a volatility basis based on percent move and the rapidness of the move.
It pretty much
and then the
doesn't
stock doesn't. I think there's selective situations in which it's not enforced. That's That's my way of putting it.
Oh, you mean the market's rigged?
Selective situations under which they don't enforce it. It's kind of like pass interference in the Kansas City Chiefs. There are certain situations in which pass interference is not going to be enforced because it would be.
Pass interference is like an opinion, like
the
SEC. Yeah,
you know what I'm getting at there.
Of course. I mean, I will wait.
I'm not a
Chiefs
Chiefs fan, everybody.
On that
I'm a Buffalo
Bills game. Hopefully in 2 weeks is when the Chiefs will play. Hopefully the Bills, and that'll be in Kansas City. That should be the thing, man. That should be the thing. Okay.
I hate Kansas City.
All right. I don't know what to review now because crypto's great. And make crypto great again. It looks like we're doing that right now as it breaks back above 100,000 right now. What did you say? Oh, it always was great. I agree with that. So there's no doubt about that one. Nice move to the upside. We had liquidated a little bit. We got stopped out of some Doge. We talked about that. We got stopped out of some Cardano. We did not obviously get. We're never going to get stopped out of Bitcoin or IBIT because I'm not selling it. But nice move to the upside. We do have some USDC sitting around, so potentially buying some more Bitcoin at some point. But it's trying to stall a little bit. We said the break was going to go to 2,000 right there on Bitcoin. So let's just call this upside a little bit and talk about why we thought that. There's an island right here, 102. So I was thinking that could have been something where we wind up stopping in and around. So there's a nice break there to the upside. Really smooth sailing all the way up here. I mean, you got into, this is December 5th, into Christmas period. We talked about sort of these highs right there. That's the 18th. That was the high. Then right back into here on Christmas Day, we sort of topped out to where we are right now at $101 and change $1,000. So, could continue to go higher here. We'll see if it wants to hold it. If we're just going to look at, again, a 1 minute chart, we continue to pump, right? So there's Bitcoin right there. Nice little move higher. Still going. You're looking to break that $100,500 mark right there. If that breaks, then I think it gets to that 102. So I'm not going to put any more offers on this. We just got stopped out of the TQs, but our net's not really changing because we do have this trade going on IBIT, but there is the last TQQ trade out. We talked about getting out at 30s if it does take the high. There's Bitcoin right there, and also Ethereum moving as well. So boo on taking that out on TQs.
XRP.
Ripple's the one that's really moving.
Oh, every time, it's weird. Like sometimes this defaults back to the chart that I had before. Sorry guys, I didn't realize you were going to, as I was making the change. No, Ripple making a bit of a breakout as well. Let's go to Adara at the desk.
We have Southwest Airlines here dropping pretty aggressively. This is down about 1% here. As you can see here, volume spike to the downside, trying to find here a little bit of relief at this previous support level around 32.75. The Biden administration is suing the airline here over, quote, chronic flight delays. So some more business getting done by the Biden administration ahead of next week's inauguration. Now, LUV trying to hold on here at this 32.75 level, guys. Back to you.
So you're saying they're getting no love?
No love at all.
Ain't no love in the heart of the city. That's
all
a
you
great
need
song.
is love. Yes, exactly.
That's another great one there. You want Delta, you want AL. Those have been unbelievable. Southwest dwindling is the way I will put it. It's not really doing much. On the daily chart, that move doesn't look like anything, but remember, stocks, NASDAQ 2.5% high of the day, ES 2% high of the day, LUV before that even happened was red and underneath VWAP. So suffice to say that was a strong stock that the market knew what it was doing there. Regardless, where are you trend line? So since the trend from VWAP, I don't think matters here. I think the trend from the break, like this push into the high of the day, like this local breakout into the push, the high of the day break at 364. And now if you lose the trend, I'm going to be wary of a reversion because of what happened yesterday in a lot of the crypto names. And you saw the MSTR is spectacularly when it did a push in the afternoon. When it reverted the trend, it was very, very rapid. So if you were hesitant to get out of it on an upward move, if you're buying on those highs, it's much different if you're buying the lows and you're holding than if you're taking a breakout and it reverts the trend. So if this happens, I don't want to get caught. I'm just moving my stop every single 3-minute candle up a little bit higher. So right now, it's just underneath break even at this point. But we're tracking towards 370 for sure. Oliva, I should say. No SoFi news In particular, no, right now, there was this morning. I was on the watch list.
Damn you, SoFi.
Why? Where is SoFi now?
Get it, SoFi.
It's just chilling at the high. Why is SoFi not breaking? Crypto's going. Anything finance related ought to be able to get a bounce here. Not that it has anything to do particularly with crypto, but why not? Just go for the sake of it.
Look, I mean, here's SoFi right here. We had it all day, man. Play it long, off, sticky note right there. So we really like SoFi. Would be great. Uptrend in play, upgraded as well. So, yeah, we really like SoFi there today. And, yeah, boom goes the dynamite, a big stock there, SoFi. Yeah, bought the dip there, able to get a little bit out, supported at that $15 level. We bought more. And then we got out at the 200, which is really silly. I didn't know it had this juice to it, so boo on that one, but a great call out, whoever that was there in the chat. And yeah, so bang, we have here. You know what we don't need to do? We don't need to do this. Do something, because it's doing something right now, as there goes BTC, baby. And what a nice move it's been right there for that. So boom. You buy the dips, you buy more, you buy it, you like it, there it goes. It's a great move to the upside there with IBIT. I have now, you know, I was thinking about this. When the NASDAQ is doing this, like, to keep on, especially when Tesla's bouncing, like booming, you know, to go short 3 times there is not great. We don't really, we're going to be red on it. We have one red stock today. And again, you can ask me anything you guys want in the chat. Just tag me. But that sucked, right? So here it is right there. That was a great move to the downside. Again, made sense off the open. We had a little dwindling volume. Market starts to fade back out. But, you know, bouncing off VWAP and really supporting these levels, we kind of thought right there. And again, this is where we got stopped out. We got back. We got more in there and then averaged it in. We didn't put on too much risk. But at the end of the day, stopped out. So sucks. But, you know, that was pretty indicative there. There it was there as well at the 50-period moving average. So we got to do a little bit better on that one. So I will do this on, you know. But again, to talk about that is one thing. We are still very, very positive there today. And most of the reason is, again, whoa, geez. Damn you, 420. Like, we just had that offer there because it faded on Tesla. And the most money we've made on a single trade. So we'll be happy with it. But like, if it's the most money on Tesla and we got out $7 ago and we got out a lot of this at 414s and 413s for $8 winners. And again, like, I'm not going to look back at this and be like, what did I do? I mean, this came we had the low of the day right into the high of the day, right into CPI levels. So we cashed this out. Cashed it out, man, and then it ripped up after that. Then we got out at 13s, then we got out at 16s, then we got out at 18s, then we got out again when we thought it was maybe breaking through the 50 period again. And then we got out at 420, exactly. So at least we have a 420 print in our account. Who really gives a shit stuff about that? But there it is, nice move to the upside, bouncing off that 200 period. We're still here, man. We still got that confidence. And if you're looking for banger trades, I mean, that one right there, it doesn't. And then plus Rigetti too today. Like, today's just been a good day. And then I'm even forgetting about IBIT that we have on right now. Neil's got MSTR, but yeah, still really, really good there to that upside. So yeah, we should always do everything. We should always do everything. See everything there in the chat. Yeah, look, we bought Rigetti yesterday at $6. We got out at $9 at the close, only to see it at 11 today. You make those trades, right? You make them in, you make them out. But right now, Rigetti, we didn't get that fill. I think we should just go back to 30, get out of there with only 25 minutes left, and then just really wrap a bow on the day. Not everybody's going to be green, and we're just happy when we're green. So we're green today, and we're not green every day. So we're going to just, you know, watch out for that. It's been a good one. Protect those Tesla gains. It's only 325, man. There's still more trading to go today. It's 35 minutes, Neil, until the imbalances. So I don't want to
25 to the imbalances. 35.
Yeah, sorry, 25. No, 350.
What?
Yeah, 25.
Yeah.
It's 325 right now.
So
where am I?
Yeah, we're all right here. And you don't have to go anywhere, but you did just have, and I said if we mean revert, even we just got a break on MSTR. I put the trail in manually. You can do automatic trailing stops. I'm not saying you can't do that on our system, but they're usually like percentage or like price based. So when I want to do it off of a trend line, I'm doing it manually. So I just jumped out of MSTR. It was a break of the high of the day and then get out when it breaks trend. So there was the high of the day. It's like a triple top. I mean, you get fortunate that this breaks a triple top when Bitcoin broke 100,000 the second time. Like if it did the same move the first time that Bitcoin broke 100,000 and then came back underneath, MSTR probably rinses everybody. But because it didn't break the high of the day to the second time, it ends up being very, very clean. So that was a little bit fortunate. I'm still in this WNW stock, which I should probably punch out. A, before I sneeze, and then B, before the end of the day there as well. Tesla, I just saw someone in the chat. Dynamite, great name.
That stock is Dynamite.
Jimmy Walker, man, great show.
Dynamite.
Tesla becomes a buy after 428, Dynamite says. After 428. What up, Joe? It is cold in here.
What's up, Joe? What are you saying, Joe?
That's why you have the beanie on, because it is cold in here. 420, I actually agree with that, though.
No shit, dude. You can't pick an ETF.
Whoa, hold on a second. I picked
an
an ETF in our thing. You're 100%.
What do you mean I can't?
Okay, so you guys can't hear Joe.
Pick an ETF.
Joe is working on the spreadsheet for our picks from the holiday. Well, it wasn't the holiday.
Get that spreadsheet done.
No, it was the holiday where we did the half-day show.
What about the picks?
No, and he's saying that we can't pick ETFs. I'm like, why can't you pick an ETF?
Nah, man.
If I want to pick XLF, I can pick XLF. Yeah. And Sean is more like, why?
I mean, Diamonds is probably down since I made that
why?
call.
Well, you picked the Diamonds as one of your picks. Look, I mean, it wasn't all stocks. Like Brendan
It's coming from the guy that goes, my number one pick is Google, and then he figures it all out. And he's like, nah. 5 minutes later, he's like, nah, I'm gone from Google. I'm gone.
What did he switch to?
I don't know. Meta. He switched to Meta. This guy's too much, man.
Not allowed to
Option
pick ETF.
Joe.
No, you're allowed to pick. You pick Bitcoin, but you can't pick an ETF.
We invented. Okay. No, we love Joe. Shout out to Joe.
As long as you didn't pick FTAI, I think you're good.
I did. I picked FTAI. No, of course not. What is that at right now? Oh, by the way,
good bounce. By the way,
this Rigetti is making a move down. I'm going to put a stop now. My stop was just breaking through 10. So right 9. You want to know my stop? I mean, right here, Neil, 994. 994. 10 cents worth of a stop to get $1. I mean, come on, guy. All right, let's cancel our stop order and get a new one in. All right, 1099. You know what? Let's go with 1094. Why don't we? Was it 994? 1094 right there to get stopped out on RGTI. So, oh boy, man. IBIT. Great cash outs up there. I mean, tons of outs as we go. Still have 5% left. No, 10% left. 5% left on this trade right now for IBIT, but it is falling back in. That's too bad because Q's is probably... No, Q's holding up. So just like an IBIT story. Nvidia right now, Neil, the thing is, we just said about what kind of a day we had today on everything, and I forgot about this one. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's $4 right now in the money on this one. Let's use this as our break. So that's 136. I mean, we said that the 136 break could be a good one. Looks like it's going to be okay. The thing is, we zoomed it back out right there, and we noticed this level. So let's watch out. If it holds it, great. We're going to get out the 50-period moving average on the 1-minute chart. So 135.80, man. Let's just do that, and yeah, we're still right in the basket where we need to be today. Big day alert, guys. Big day alert. I hope you guys are doing well as well. So far, so good here. Like I said, you can tag us all. We already talked about this. You want to know if we're up, down, red, green, what kind of a day we're having. Like, it's one thing to say, like, oh, I'm green today or I'm red today. But, like, where are you as far as, like, what kind of a day you're having, Because many people out there I'm green today, but maybe I'm green $5. And if you're normally red $5, then that's good, right? But, for me today, it's going to be a relatively big day. So we're pretty happy with that one. And then we're going to watch out here with Nvidia. I don't know if there was a throw there. No. Okay, I'm going to take the break to just go get some water.
There was a super chat. That's what they were saying. It was from Nimrod. Just very quickly to reiterate, I am still in a stock that I have not traded since lunchtime, but we're out of MSTR. There's the out. Just try to keep it simple, man. At the end of the day, triple top breakout, said if it reverts trend, we saw what happened in yesterday's trade. And yesterday it trended up, and when it reverted, it was actually more extreme than this, the pullback. So oftentimes history doesn't have to repeat itself, but it can rhyme. So try to keep it, like I said, try to keep it as simple as possible and take one win there on MSTR. I think we got fortunate with the timing of that break because it never went against. It broke 364 clean and it never came back underneath. Like the prior high bar was 25 cents underneath. Well, actually, maybe 30 cents, and you get a little bit of slippage there for MSTR. I have no intention of looking for a dip buy back in on this thing. We'll just kind of let it decide what it wants to do and look at it tomorrow. But if they want to thank you for the super chat here, Nimrod, not the first time. Any general tips for trading earnings, except not to do it? Any specific things to watch for this upcoming period? Started shorting Greenland stocks after Trump's elections. Check out GTEC. Trading earnings, I'm assuming when you say just don't do it, you mean trading them in the aftermarket. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Liquidity, in a general sense, is pretty bad. I actually once saw a trader who was on this floor who made a very, very profitable trade on earnings because he happened to fat finger and it went his direction. Now, if it goes the other direction, that trader's, at that time, decade-long career, because of essentially one liquidity incident in the aftermarket could have been disastrous for him. But yeah, when it comes to earnings, I think the value of earnings after the fact is that you get to trade off of price action that's established. You get the opening range and you get some follow-through type plays. I think recently, Walgreens Boots, WBA, who calls it Walgreens Boots Alliance? WBA is sort of a really good example of a continuation type of play where you can see the price action and then you can react after the fact on the volume spike for like a couple of days. Like you can see it break some levels, you can see it continue. I think that's what you're going to get the benefit of with some of these banking stocks like Goldman. Like we get to see it break out, retest, hold 600 even, which was a big level. I guess we'll go to a 3-minute chart. Hold out $600 even, show you VWAP, give you trends after the fact where you don't have to be doing that guesswork in all of that chaos. So I think you just got to be a little bit careful trading earnings. I actually don't even like earnings in the morning. Like I prefer every single stock to have earnings after market, and then that way you can just see what it does, plan all morning to be able to trade it and find some levels. I always find myself not wanting to get too involved in the morning earnings names because I don't think you get enough information out of them, and then you're caught in that chaos at 9:30. But good luck to anybody that does ever trade it. Every now and then you'll see one of those crazy earnings moves bounce off like an old AVWAP or something, and that's great. Like if it was a stock that if I'm swinging it and I don't mind holding it in my long term, that's one thing. But I'm not trying to have a stop run in the aftermarket. I don't want any part of that on a stock like a Goldman Sachs or a Netflix or.
I went over. Oh, okay. I went over. I was saying I once saved Sharif's basically his trading career at this firm because I looked over and I'm like, dude, what are you even trading? And he'll tell you this tomorrow. I just looked over at his managers. I don't know what they were doing, but I looked over and I was just like, dude, why are you trading the closing trades? Like we've never seen anybody trade earnings successfully, as per Neil's story there, right? So I was just
I can't say that. Several people have been up, but like it was up by, like I said, like the guy was up because he fat fingered along.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like nobody has actually strategically traded the closing to profit.
That's a better way to put it.
Well, I mean, if you make money by fluke, I mean, that's not a strategy. You talk about that all the time.
Exactly.
Right? So I was going to say, so nobody's had a successful strategy into the closing trades ever. So I turn to Sharif, just like I try to be honest with you guys every single day, and I say, dude, stop doing it, bro. You're never going to do anything doing that. And now you can see he's completely changed and now is a trader here. You know who Sharif is, live there on the show. So, yeah, just a couple stories there. You know, we've been around for a long time.
I've seen successful swing trades off of, you know, so where people have a swing idea. That's a very different story.
Man, we swung trade Rigetti.
Yeah, and I think if you're, no, I'm talking about earnings. I'm talking
on earnings.
Specifically, like taking a shot on a swing trade with an entry in the aftermarket. I've seen that, no question about it. Like that's day trading is a different story. You trade earnings as a day trade. Like here, that literally means earnings come out at 4:05, you get it at 4:06, and you've got 5-10 minutes to cover. When you take a trade off for earnings the next day, you've got the whole day for it to work for you. You've got way more information, and you've got 10 times the liquidity. You have every single thing stacked in your favor for a trade as opposed to the others. Let's go. And you know what? A good place where during earnings season, there's going to be, it's overwhelming because every day you have like 5, 6, 7 names that have earnings. Yep. You want to see what those key levels are. You need something to be able to parse that data.
Yeah. And you can parse it with simply looking at eSignal. You can grab your eSignal platform by scanning that QR code below. Trade smarter, not harder. Again, eSignal, they have the expected earnings date, links to news sources. It's a completely entitlement-based system. So you want Dow Jones Newswire hooked up into your eSignal, they can do that. You see all the things. Oh, it was just there. World-class customizable charts, all of the data windows, very easy to use. The scanners are easy. To Neil's point, you could scan earnings stocks. You could do anything you want to almost anything you want to with the eSignal charting platform. It's for me, it's the one that I use and been using it since the jump. So I really like eSignal, and scan the QR code, get going on that one. I often show the charts on here. We show our charts from Real Trading, the prop firm that we are with. So they're great. They're good for trading as we do, and good for looking at intraday moves and putting out connected, so you get the the ins and the outs here. Are very easy to show you guys everything that we're doing. Nvidia, remember, if this breaks now, I was thinking about what do I have it at? Sorry, on Nvidia, 80s break. So is that still valid? Yeah, that's 90s right there. The 50-period moving average, $4 in the money. I don't want to sleep on it, but we still do have the trade. So we'll give it a second here to see if it does want to bow out or so. IBIT, let's put an offer right now to get out of something. We have 5% left, so let's go to 4%, and then let's go a little bit higher up near O's to get out of another %, and then just rang it up, man. I mean, there it is. IBIT, another one for us, positive on the day. We have one, so Tesla, like I said, P&L number one as an individual name, probably the last year, probably. I know Obi's had some big winners as well live on the show, so he probably has a big winner there. SoFi, a positive stock today, obviously. Rigetti, I mean, that has been a great trade, man. Nvidia, we don't need to talk too much about that. We just did. IBIT, I mean, I just took this with you guys. So legit there, and that's it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names will have one red mark. We'll go 5 and 1 today with a great day. So it's 3:38. I want to thank everybody for watching. What's up, Elon? What's up to everybody else? Our platform is Real Trading. You can go Google that, realtrading.com. And actually, with that being said, let's find out yesterday. We'll just go back here. And we'll find out what's going on right now with who's making money at Real Trading. So this is yesterday's. We have an internal post here. You can go to compare your profits. So you do that. And then you could see yesterday, I'll just zoom this in here, the top 10 traders. So I'll just go like that. So this was yesterday, right? This is not as we go live right now. So the top 10 traders at Real Trading yesterday. NASDAQ, these are the markets they traded. So it's not just individual markets. Like this person traded 3 markets. So let's look. There's Canada. Oh, we got an exchange. Okay, that's good. So there's the Canadian exchange right there. New York, NASDAQ, AMEX as well. So could be spiders, could be something in the gold space, anything oil, some ETF related. I don't know if we're allowed to trade ETFs around here, Joe, or not, but there's AMEX right there. Someone, we talked about Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Wow, $4,100, $4,400 on the pink sheets there, comes in space 10. And then somebody that is Canada. True. To Canada there, they trade Canada, they trade CBOE, they trade CSE, and they trade the CS.
Every Canadian market.
Yeah, exactly. Every Canadian market right there traded. So that is a little look at compare your profits, and hopefully you can get into the club as well. But hey, man, if being green is a pass today to get into the club, then we are there. There's only 10 minutes left before imbalances. Neil and I often, get flat into those imbalances. So for Nvidia, my stop is 30 cents lower. I hope you guys are enjoying the show, and I hope it's been a profitable day.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Brent Roth, for sure. I knew you were joking about that, the halting on Tesla thing. We were just sort of having some fun with it. If Tesla ever halted, like we would all know rather quickly because people would be yelling and screaming and pandemonium would be happening. Mag 7 type names, typically volatility halts are exceedingly rare on those. There's a couple of names on the early look imbalance. none of them that I think are that big. There's some stock called GATO, GATO, that is 1 million to the sell side. There's some kind of a silver company, so I don't know. It's a very significant. The only reason I'm going to put it up on a side chart is because the early look is 1.6 million to sell, and it's done less than a million shares on the day. Oh, what happened to my? Oh, that chart just crashed. But GATO's, it gets a $14 stock with 600,000 in volume, and the imbalance is 1.6 million. Usually that suggests some kind of an index action, but I was just going to check and couldn't find anything on GATO. A bit of a weird one, but I'm going to, oh, actually, no, there it is. Oh, I was still looking at yesterday's. So GATO is, yeah, that's tonight. Deletion from, it doesn't say which index, S&P total market. So it is supposed to be a delete. GATO is going to be a deletion. That could be worth watching. If it comes out of 1.6 million to sell, 600,000 in volume, that's worth a look. But just because it's an early look sell imbalance does not mean at 350 it comes out of sell. That's huge. It also doesn't mean it'll go down just because it's a sell imbalance. You know, if it was that simple, no one would ever lose an imbalance trade and everyone would take it and there'd be no profit to be had.
All right. Yo, YouTube right here. Thank you so much. 49 months. I mean, we celebrated last week with, or yesterday maybe, with Russell Jackson as well, big member. But there it is, 49 months. Thank you. Wow. 49 months. Thank you so much for all that. 4 years. Thank you. Again, like, amazing. God bless you too, and thank you for all the kind words in that note. So we want to say thank you to that. And then right here as well, Tesla MSTR trade sending us out of this weather and down to some Mexican sunshine. You're damn right about that one. We say hells yeah to that. And oh boy, as we continue to go, what a day it has been here today as we get ready for the close. Coming into play, we did have some bank earnings, obviously, yesterday, today. And we're going to wait to see where those earnings take us. But, I'm just going to punch out. We did, that's it. So we did get out of IBIT, sorry, right there as we talk about it a little bit. IBIT, we punch out. So it's about to break 80s. We just get out. We get out at 81s right there on IBIT, right before it breaks down a little bit. So there's our out on IBIT. I just don't want to, we had 4% left. On this name, a big name for us there, IBIT today. Looks like it wants to just hold out. So there it is, making the move back in, breaking back down below 100,000. Bye-bye, we will pass on that one. So there it goes down to the downside. Yeah, I mean, what am I supposed to do?
We never hold
on the TQs. I mean, whether or not it comes back down or not, I'm just looking at everybody there in the chat. Look, it's been and I want to thank everybody because, you know, regardless of, you know, us being green or red or anything, it's just about having a great community and sharing everything with everybody. So, yeah, if you have any suggestions that you'd like, you know, more, that's why we did that thing on the show. I was like, let's just all pick, we all talked about it, trades moving into the new year, and then we can discuss some of the plays that we've had. So if there's anything else that you guys, you know, want us to do, put those suggestions in the chat there. And that's why I said, like, we're here to answer all your questions. Tag us. You want to know something? Like, hey, at this, at that, you know, get ahead and tag us. Neil will be way more active, I feel like, in the chat. Like, I'm more active trader, so I just think that I'll try to look up there. Right now, we're both pretty flat, so if there are any questions.
There was a good question, and someone asked they were literally like
46 months, Ronnie Boy.
Shout out to Ronnie Boy. I remember you, Ronnie Boy 225, and we appreciate all our members. If you've been here for, you know, since we came onto YouTube in 2020, or if you've been here for a little bit, we just hope you enjoy the show. And there was a question: what will you trade for Bitcoin moves, MSTR or Bitcoin? There's no wrong answer to that. You could trade Mara, you could trade Hut 8, you could trade Riots. Trade the one that sets up better now. All right, hopefully my 15-minute chart is going to be better. Oh, yeah, it is. So anyways, this is my, I don't know what happened to my 3-minute on MSTR, but just trade the one that sets up for you. Like, I happen to like this breakout because 100,000 had gone and 364 hadn't gone. Like, it's once, twice. It was an even dollar breakout when Bitcoin was going. So you got a lagging move. Now maybe that didn't happen. I probably don't like this trade if MSTR has already broken 364, is over 364, and then all of a sudden Bitcoin breaks 100,000 and comes back underneath. I think that could be a little bit more of a trap. No, you just got to find whichever one works for you. Like, there's not Like there's not one way to skin a cat. That's the best thing. If you want to trade not just crypto, but you could talk about like semiconductors. You know, there's AMD, there's Nvidia, there's Broadcom, there's Micron, which we don't look at, I think, often enough. Micron looks fantastic this year. We're talking about that. Yeah, you just got to be able to pick the horse that you like. I know for sure on weakness, I like to short any one of, or usually Mara, but I would prefer to short one of the miners because they tend not to be as strong when Bitcoin is weak. And Bitcoin tends to get dip bought pretty well. Top VoIP, how does HIMS look to you? Caveat, I have not looked at HIMS at once today. So sometimes you've looked at a chart, I have an idea what the levels might be. This is a V-shaped double top, but just not adjacent to or the exact same space, but it's very similar to the GLP space. I sold some Eli Lilly today in the middle of the day, so just candidly in my personal account. But it's starting to look a little bit better. It's got a nice wedge formation, lower highs, higher lows, and until it breaks that wedge, I think you're just sort of diddling in the middle on him. So I would usually just draw a trend line if I like the stock, and when it closes above, I'd take a shot at it, but HIMS is not a stock that I like. I like the direct play, and I'm in some Eli Lilly. Adara?
Just as Neil mentioned HIMS, I was about to talk about this one because I just saw a story on HIMS. Some reports here that Eli Lilly is considering offering more Zepbound doses in vials at a lower cost. We know that HIMS had that nice rally when there was the shortage of these GLP-1s or that type of medicine. Now that that shortage has kind of ended, that was viewed as a very bearish catalyst for HIMS. So anything involving companies like Eli Lilly offering more Zepbound for cheaper is not going to be a great look for HIMS, Hims and Hers Health, guys.
Eli Lilly. Yeah. Lilly, I was going to sell some Lilly yesterday, and that's 5%. It is what it is. But I kind of sold at lunch, which is like if I had just put a sell at the open, Lilly really dumped at the open and then recovered, but it just held 746 the entire way. Chris M, FTAI to the sky. Good.
Really?
Well, Muddy Waters has to make money too. And Muddy Waters can't make any money on this position unless they buy it back. That's the nature of shorts. Short sellers are forced buyers at some point. So Muddy Waters, I'm presuming, has something to do with that gain if you have a long in FTAI. Or maybe some other short firms that also got in on this one. But it's at VWAP, so a lot of times you get the retracement back into VWAP and be happy that you get it. Still gonna be under a lot of pressure tomorrow. I can't say that this is one that we'll watch tomorrow because we probably won't be able, it'll probably still be blocked for us tomorrow. Yeah. Because this has nothing to do with volatility. It's a different reason why it's blocked. Otherwise, there were some really good mean reversion trades on. Like if I'm taking a shot on that W&W stock, like why wouldn't you take a mean revert like that one here when it breaks trend? Or this mean reversion is much more clean. Like I don't think, actually that's not clean at all. Like this one here, that's a clean one where you kind of get that long. It does rinse you out, but I would have tried it. Whether or not I would have scalped some out of been profitable on, but I would have tried that one if we'd had a shot at it. But I don't think they'll all block this for us tomorrow.
All right, just quickly here on the fan funding, good suggestion there by Bears vs. Bulls. Oh, dang, says Ronnie Boy, 46 months. That is
another one.
So we want to thank you for that one. You guys, man, you guys are the best. Bishwajit, thank you so much for signing up and for becoming a member. It's $5. It's $5 a month. It's just to have some fun with us. Become a member. We'll shout you out every single time it renews. So we want to thank everybody for that as well. The rookie cooker. So when I used to work in the back and, really promote real trading and travel all over the world and hire traders all over the world and teach people, how to trade, put them under all this kind of stuff, I would know this answer. I don't know it right now. What is the average P&L of the top 50 traders? I don't know. So that's fine. All right, the next one there, FTAI, I think you just talked about that one, so that was a good one, and that's that. So thank you to everybody there on fan funding. And I just said, again, if you really want to us to answer questions, if you just send a super chat, and I feel bad saying send us super chats, but it's just about we'll be able to see it. So if it's $1 or something like that, we're not making any money on anything like that. So just send it to us, get our attention. We'll try to do our best, and you don't have to super chat, just a way for us to maybe see it a bit easier. So it's not gonna by the time YouTube and all that takes their money away from that, it's not like we're doing anything with it. But thank you so much for the.
Yeah, appreciate
it matters. We have over, I'm not sure how many subscribers we have. Brendan probably would know, but maybe 1,000 or so monthly subscribers. I want to thank everybody for continuously supporting the show in that matter as well. So oh, geez, man, 350.
So the amount, I put them in the chat for everybody. Nvidia 3.3 million sell, Intel 1.9 million sell, Apple 1.7 million sell. Those are the big three. I put them all in the chat. We'll do that every single time. Like if I don't have to interrupt, you can always just check the chat for all the big imbalances if I don't yell it out or one of us doesn't yell it out live. That Gatto stock that's being deleted, 1.6, came out pretty much as expected as a sell. But I'm still on FTAI. I thought I hit enter. Gatto doesn't have the
black cat, right? I think.
Is that what it is?
Bang!
Yeah, so there's Nvidia. Not a huge move down on that. 3.5 million is a decent number, but you can see Nvidia barely even budged. 30, 40 cent move on Nvidia off of that sell and bounce. So I'd say good, not great price action there. That Gatto, I don't know which one it is, to be honest with you. It doesn't really matter. So it comes out as a sell and bounce, supposed to be deleted, and it goes up. So it's not always just because the imbalance is in one direction. That's the way that it should go. Christopher Mulligan, who made 4K on the TSX? What stock is day tradable? I thought we named a few. Shopify. Remember, Shopify is a Canadian company, right? So it's listed in Toronto. I mean, I had no idea what Shopify's chart looked like today. I had no idea. I just pulled this chart up as an example. Okay, well, look at this off the lows when it mean reverts. That's there's your mean reversion. There's probably an entry at 148, and it went to $150 today. There's also, what's going to be another good example? Hut 8.
Yeah. You
could trade Hut 8 mining. Again, this is just the first miner that comes to mind. Bitcoin's moving. Okay, this breaks above VWAP in here. That's 37.10. Maybe give it to the local bottom. It goes to 38.30. And it's done 3.5 million shares. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Toronto market is the US market. That's not true, but there's plenty of trading opportunities in Toronto. We've all made money trading in Toronto before. The Toronto banks actually do fantastic volume every single day, so those are very, very tradable. It's a little bit of a bad story.
Yeah, we'll end our trade again. Another big one there as we'll go back into our pockets for Nvidia. So it does break through that 136. We get out. It breaks through that. We had it at that stop. Remember, we adjusted it. So there's the breakout and the move down there. We got out at an 84 break. So we actually got 84s, maybe the bottom or so on that move. But that's okay. We had a very, very small piece left on that one. Our IBIT is out. Our SoFi is upsetting. Our Tesla right now, wow, that just keeps on going upside as well. So yeah, the day is getting a little long in the tooth right now as I just noticed it was a little snowy out there, starting to snow anyways, so that should be nice. I like it when it snows. We'll get home and travel well for everybody there today. If you're in the GTA, I don't think we're expecting a snowstorm or anything, but
I want a little more accumulation. I'd like to do some tobogganing this weekend.
Okay, I think there'll be some tobogganing opportunities there this weekend. I think it's decent accumulation right now. Actually, it hasn't been really too.
Also, you definitely want the type of snow too matters, right? Like you don't.
Yeah.
And then the temperature matters. You don't want it to be too cold when you go tobogganing. There's definitely a happy medium. You don't want that like ice nonsense. Yeah, that's a little bit too crazy, especially if you have a little bit of a fall. Doom. Yeah. So with only about 6 minutes to go, those sell imbalances, remember 355 is about to happen. I just saw TLT pop up there for 3.4 million. That wasn't there before, I don't think. But still Nvidia and Apple lead the way as sell imbalances. Probably going to pair off in about 30 seconds or so. Whether or not they flip from shorts or from sells to buys, Apple, you can see, is already starting to pair off down to 1.2. Nvidia stays at 3.3. They're at least going to decline. Nvidia already declined. Now 1.5, bit of a sell there. Now half before 355 with only 10 seconds to go. And we'll see these flips live if they do happen, although most of them are already pairing.
I call Nvidia go. Let's see. Nvidia
It'll be Nvidia that'll probably
it should go higher right here. We'll see what happens. There it is. Wow. Bang.
There it is.
On Nvidia, nice move, a little bit higher, not huge or anything like that, nothing to write home about. But there's the flip trade on Nvidia. So it comes out as sell, flips over to. Might not have even flipped over. We'll have a quick check on it. Yeah, so it's definitely, whether or not it's flipped or not, it's not here anymore. There goes Nvidia up to the upside. Still that Gatto, and that's about it. So as we look out, we'll check out. I just saw IBIT on there. Let me see what IBIT's doing right now. Ooh, IBIT going to the downside. Good outs for us. Okay, man, we'll go diamond hands. It's great to have diamond hands, but you got to have hands that be able to punch out. And we did that right there on that play. So it's a good out so far, I guess, for us there on crypto. You could be in a name forever, but that's not a good move. You got to get out at some point. We have Chris Brecher tomorrow, to be honest with you. So he'll be coming there tomorrow. There it is, ATD, pain trade. Yeah, that would be a good one there for Swollen Mort. Right there wants us to maybe look at ATD. So let's see what that's doing right now. ATD, Elimination Couche-Tard, again right there. I think they are grocery stores and stuff like that, right? All right, there it is, a nice move to the downside. Wow, 75 and breaking a little bit lower right now. ATD, yeah, that is pretty painful there on the daily. Adara, I believe.
Is something interesting I noticed I wanted to bring people's attention here in TSLA. This is an anchored VWAP. This is at 426.13 on the 3-minute chart. And this is from the, the Tesla deliveries there for Q4 on January 2nd. This level, a huge bounce level, is just one thing of note here. Just something of note. Keep an eye on 426.12s for whatever reason on TSLA.
Thank you very much, Adair. It is 3:57. I'm going to get up to the desk. We will have the aftermarket show with Adair and I. There's a few smaller banks that are going to report tomorrow morning, and a couple of smaller names are going to report after the bell. But we'll get your questions locked and loaded and ready to go and see. We'll probably have to watch Bitcoin in this 100,000 level back and forth. It's like 5 or 6 times we've gone over and under 100,000. We can get to 100,000. We can't hold 100,000, unfortunately. Kind of like that rental car company in Seinfeld. I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes at the desk.
Get up there. All right, go get them. Today, we do have some earnings coming through. We'll talk about those real quickly because why not? All right, so today's earnings will be, I'm just calling them up right now for everybody to look it up here. Oh, it is actually not updating for me. I'm going to have to go over to Market Chameleon and reset this page just really quickly. And here it is. So we'll look forward to today. We did have big earnings. We talked about the bank earnings that hit. So this is today, January the 15th. So if we zoom in just a little bit here, we'll be able to see what is reporting after hours and what isn't. So you see those big guys there earlier on today. We did have, Bank of New York Mellon. These are all before market open, after market close. SNV, Synovus, Madrigal. Aftermarket. That's going to be a good one. MDGL. There are a lot of traders I know on that name right now. Wow. Previous move on that, 20% right now. Home bank shares, aftermarket close. Concentrics. That doesn't look like there's going to be too much there today. So join Adara and, of course, as you just saw Neil go over there to, get ready for the after show. There it is, ATD. So, all right, good move downside. Let's find out where Rigetti closes. Good trade for us to get out there. Again, on the 50-period break down. Long once, long twice, but not thrice. Great trading there to end the day on that. Did Tesla break 430? Any guesses, everybody? I say no. No. Okay, but it does go, wow. 420, what? I just kind of made that up. Okay, our high of the day is wrong because it says 436. That is 429.77 or so right there, roughly there for Tesla. So watch out to see if that breaks there. We did great on Tesla, and it's not about, saying that. It's just like, that was a good trade. You got to stay long. I mean, I wish we had knew that this was the long of all longs today. We'll let that settle. There it is. All right, he hits the count. I don't know. Now we have zeros on the board. We're okay right there. We are getting ready. Adara is going over to the desk, and, we joke about it, but the green Adara today, we are up 2.2%. So it works one more time. And if you believe that that has anything to do with the market move, then trader psychology, very, very important. Keep believing it, man. Whatever you believe in and whatever works for you. If you went long on that, that is great. 20 seconds left right now. Again, everybody stay tuned after the show. We've got Neil and Adara tonight talking everything about earnings and what kind of a day it was, reviewing the banks, looking at crypto. Neil nailed that one, 99.6 right now for BTC. Hi, Adara. 3, 2, and 1. Get your orders. Oh my God, I just went to go look at my orders. I still have a pending bid on Tesla, 401.60. So that's not going to fill, as that's $25 higher right now. Look, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's joined us one more time here today. There it is. Over 4,800 of you stayed late. I have no idea how many likes. I'll hit the like right now. Again, I'm not going to refresh it, but if you haven't done that, make sure you do it. Over 4,800 of you watching. We want to thank you. The viewership just keeps going higher. And, you know, again, Bears versus Bulls. Thanks for keeping the chat clean. Everybody, get a subscriber. You got to be a subscriber to get in the chat. We want to thank that. Joe over here, man. This guy's staying late, doing all the work over here. Thanks to Joe for the big show in the midday. Thanks to Sharif again. Andre back there doing all the work behind the scenes. Fabian as well. Adara, obviously, you've seen her all day. Neil, Brendo in the back. Everybody that's part of Trader TV Live, we want to give a big shout out to you. And to, hey, the biggest part of Trader TV Live are you guys and girls, traders out there. So we want to thank you for watching, because if you weren't here, well, I would still be here, but we wouldn't be here. So thank you so much to everybody. Let's continue to have big days. Get good sleep. That's all part of it. You know, get energized. We're back tomorrow at 8:30. But for right now, it's Neil at the desk. It's Adara. It's earnings. I'm Sean. See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Sean. I just realized something that we got to get back to standing on this recently or soon. Because this is a perfect desk for standing. You sit down all day long.
Yeah,
and
Sean
you can
stands on it like every time we do the market recap, and if I'm feeling awake enough, I'll stand too.
I stopped. Well, I mean, I stopped doing it ever since I got hurt. But I prefer standing here because you sit down all day long. But it is what it is. I think we're getting back close to that. There's a lot to cover. We're back underneath 100K on Bitcoin. Obviously, you saw the move out. Several crypto names participated very nicely in the move to the upside, breaking out late in the day. IBIT gave a little bit back at the end, but you know, good strong day for crypto. Everything started here, Adara, when we had that lower than expected CPI, which feels like forever ago. So you had the lower than expected CPI. You had the Qs just start things off, and it was a blast off continuation trade. Now on the 15-minute, it doesn't look all that crazy. Essentially, just revert a couple of days worth of moves there on the Qs. But I think you gotta watch out for the fact that, hey, we like the 50-period moving average. Guess what we did today on the QQQ? We've regained and closed above the 50-period moving average once again. Strong day across the board. But let's be real. We had bank earnings today. So are we surprised that XLF 2.5% to the upside? We shouldn't be, because Goldman Sachs had great earnings, JP Morgan had great earnings, Citigroup had great earnings.
Wells Fargo had earnings.
Wells Fargo, well, you know what? Here's the thing. Wells Fargo maybe didn't have as good a report as everybody else, but it doesn't matter. They're up 7% anyways, because there's no such thing as good or bad earnings. There's just whatever the numbers are and whatever the heck the price action does after. And if you're a trader, your job is to trade the price action. But it was a great morning, starting out, very busy one for you with the watch list with bank earnings coming back.
Yeah, Sharif literally, he looked at the watch list like, I don't know how you did it. It was like pretty stacked watch list. Tomorrow, though, is going to be even better. One of the tickers I really like watching there is going to be UNH, that is United Health. And we know that's been on watch since the shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. So UNH, I am really excited about it. I'm going to pull up my trading view because I do have some anchors on this. I've gotten really into anchored view options. Shout out to Brian Shannon. I think if you use it appropriately when there's volume, I think it can be really helpful. Yes. I was talking today about, I just put an anchor literally today on Tesla from that crazy move we had in deliveries back on January 2nd. And we bounced off that anchor like twice at the close to like right to the penny. And I should have gotten involved, but I will say I learned a lot just from watching it. Regardless, here's UNH's daily chart. So you'll be able to see here when we had that big drop from, you know, the shooting. So these are just trend lines I drew because that was like previous all-time high, 557. That's some support here. But look at this curl above anchored VWAP from the shooting. That's going to be around 525. I like this. Let's see what we do. I think there's obvious resistance overhead at that previous support level at 557. That was also a level we interacted with on the way to the downside. On the shooting, you can see we bounced off it, then rejected off it. Regardless, I'm going to wait and see. As you said, there's no such thing as good or bad earnings, only numbers and how the market reacts. You got to be prepared. Today, I'm going to be honest, my attempts at like looking at some of these bank earnings today from a trading perspective were a little I don't usually look at these names in the morning, but you know, I'm willing to be open for the opportunities. I think that's the most you can really do in the market.
Well, actually,
ready.
I think for the types of stocks you like trading stocks with spread, with the higher prices. I think Goldman Sachs is for at least a couple of days going to be an interesting one for you. Goldman Sachs blew it out the water. any metric you want to look at, everyone's talking about there'll be good volatility this year. There'll be more deal making. There'll be IPOs. Well, you should like Goldman for that. You should like Morgan Stanley for that tomorrow. They do have a history of, you got to keep in mind, if you report after the big boys, you bet not miss. So Morgan Stanley has a lot to live up to tomorrow morning when they do report before the bell, and that's because Goldman retested its 52-week top here without breaking it. That sets you up tomorrow for a breakout on Goldman. I think that's a tremendous opportunity that we have here if we can catch a big break on Goldman Sachs. They weren't the only ones. I think, and shout out to a lot of people in the chat, like Goldman, 5.5%. Wells Fargo was a big mover as well, almost 6%. Citigroup, 6.5%. I love JP. Everyone loves JP Morgan, but that was only a couple of percent to the upside. It was all the other names that just presented better opportunities. Goldman roomed to the high. Citigroup breaking out on the high of the day and closing, holding some of those highs. A little bit of a late pullback, but effectively closing, holding on to the highs. So, I'm liking the XLF pick so far. As we said, there's no way you're not going to be trending back up. The XLF getting back to the 50-period moving average. A little bit of a dip. And what I liked about XLF was dip into prior high, and it was holding when we went over the names that we liked. So good look for them. Some other things to go over here. Hey, how about the energy play? And you see I'm mousing over XLE, but not that. What about URA trying to catch a bid? We've seen some of these high-flying, crazy nuclear names run. We've seen the quantum names run. They've had a bit of a pullback. Can this get back into favor? A reversal of trend on URA here, I think, has a pretty good opportunity to be nice back into the highs. Still trying to break the trend line on URA, but it's starting to get a little bit close. XLE also had a good day. I thought there were a couple of small earnings. I'm going to double check. Maybe they have not come out there yet, Adara. I believe we were supposed to have Concentrix, but maybe it's not till much later.
I'll check here. There wasn't any name this morning. I'll put it that way. They really screamed at me. Concentrix apparently is already out, so I guess it was not that much of an event. Apparently they've already reported there's a 16.8% surprise to the upside for EPS, so it's not bad. We also have Synovius. That's going to be 7:35 p.m. HP Fuller at 4:05. Looks like they haven't dropped those earnings yet. And then Home Bank shares, a smaller bank, at 5:15 p.m. So not a lot of note, but as we said, tomorrow morning you get TSM, you get UNH, you get BAC, you get MS, you get USB. So there's a lot. Infosys too. That's another one as well. INFY. I think Michael Noss way back when mentioned that at one point in time. But then after the close on Thursday or tomorrow, there's also a couple names of interest. Really, the main one's going to be JB Hunt. So there's a little bit tomorrow after the close, but tomorrow morning is going to be especially interesting. Keep an eye on names like Apple and Nvidia too with TSM, because we know TSM is their supplier. They have a massive market supply in that space as well. I was reading like 84%. So TSM could really make moves for that whole sector in space.
You've got some bellwethers tomorrow.
Yeah.
TSM is definitely a bellwether for the entire chip space. JB, like a lot of people have always said, if you want to see how the economy is doing, then like look at the shippers and the truckers and what are they doing, and that's going to give you a good indication as to the health of the economy. TSM's been riding the 50, and it's been a nice upward trend. I think that gives you an obvious line in the sand to work off of tomorrow morning, and it's right in adjacent to that $200 level. I see in the chat, Pankaj is asking about SMCI in particular. What is SMCI doing? Bleeding? Nothing in the aftermarket, but in a general sense, I would say SMCI is still not looking healthy. It's riding the 50 to the downside. I mean, the good news is it's stopped having really big down days, but how many times are you going to put lower highs into the same support level before you eventually break it? SMCI, I don't have the key for it, but SMCI is setting up like a flat bottom break here. Lower highs, right into the same support at $30. You've managed to wick it and hold once. Can you do it again? That's going to be a neat trick if you can, SMCI, but that's looking awfully dangerous underneath here for SMCI. Joseph Birch in the chat asking, what is PMAX doing? I do not know what Powell is doing. Powell, yeah, a little bit of movement aftermarket on this one. So this is a smaller, like $2 to $3. Here we go. Actually just looked over and saw. Powell Max shares are trading higher after the company announced acquisition plans and is targeting firms with between 1 and 5 million in revenue to expand into the Hong Kong and Asian financial communications market. So they're looking to make some acquisitions and the stock goes up. It's not always the way it works, but when you're dealing with small caps, that can be the thing. And there was a point I wanted to make about Infosys when you brought it up, Adara. And this is one thing I know Michael Noss mentioned at the time. Only a 2% short float, 13 days to cover.
Wow.
On this. So that means like the short float relative to the amount of volume that it normally does is actually quite high. So a bit of a bull flag on the daily. Worth a watch because it means it's got some squeeze potential and some runner potential if it does have a chance to go. So I think you can watch out for something like this. If it's breaking out, there is some squeeze potential despite the smaller short flow. That days to cover gives you an indication of the relative size of said short flow. And we know what can happen when heavily shorted stocks start catching a bit of a bid.
Oh, yeah.
FTAI will be an
That was crazy, that movie. I remember, like, I saw that basically right as it fell. I felt very lucky. I got that news very early. I think when it was around, like, 140 or something. And so I saw that, and I was like, this is kind of nuts. Reported it right away the second I saw it there. And thank goodness I didn't have to research it too much because the post I saw on it had actually linked the Muddy Waters report. So I knew immediately this was real. And I was able to get the news out quickly, but that was wild. Darwin in the chat was saying at one point today, that was the short of the day. And I mean, I can't argue with that if you got that on the way down, but the bounce also on the way back up was not bad either.
Yeah, look, obviously there's no question. You're not going to, on a day Muddy Waters moves the stock down from 150 to 90 bucks, you're not going to find a better short. Like it was the equivalent of that WNW stock
or that
yesterday.
MSTR short the day of the Citron research,
yeah,
like
the
when
Citron,
it went from 500 to like 400.
And Citron is a perfect example of that. And there used to be a time where, take it easy, Sean, there used to be a time with these short seller reports, it was actually very capturable, the early move on the stock. Now that's not as easy with the algos percolating the way they are. Yeah. Unfortunately for FTAI, this for other reasons was actually blocked for us real trading. So nobody got the opportunity.
Yeah, Obi was telling me about that because I didn't realize that it was blocked.
Because it actually had a few very simple setups. Mm-hmm. Like short seller report comes out here, and this thing drops. It's a 3-minute chart, so you get an idea. It drops. First green candle on a 3-minute holds the same high 3 times. So like here, and then on the green candle, and then on the next red, you're holding 140.5, and then you flat bottom break here at like 137. So a stock on a short seller report that is already dropped almost 10% makes a flat bottom break with $3 worth of risk. It then proceeds to trend down until you could say that's $12 here before it tries to hold, another breakdown, that's another 15 before it tries to hold. That was a ridiculous short trade. Nobody could take it here. But I know a lot of traders took advantage of this mover because there was a reason I was staring down WNW in the afternoon yesterday. And that was for any chance of this kind of a mean reversion bottom. Like the one that happened here, WNW ended up just halting too many times and then halting and not reopening until the aftermarket. So it didn't have a chance to make that kind of a bounce for us in the afternoon. But when you get if you like mean reversion trades, once a stock starts doing this, if you don't have the early short, you start thinking about reversals like this or reversals like that. Like you get that one snipe trade, get in, get out. I think it's very similar to what you had on MSTR today or on Bitcoin today, regardless. Like when you broke 100,000, you get a clean break, it breaks trend, clean trend break to get you out of the trade. And then you just don't have to mess with it because it breaks the trend just like it did the day before. History, like I said this in the afternoon show, history doesn't often repeat itself, but it does rhyme.
Yes.
Well, MSTR ran in the afternoon and then turn around on a dime. And the trend break was nasty, right back into VWAP. Well, what do you think it's going to do today? Trend up. You can have the long anywhere in here as long as you get out when it makes a trend break. When you're riding the trend is your friend to the end when it bends. Like that's an Obiism, I think.
I think you guys both say it so much, I don't know who said it first.
Well, I'm going to give you guys a bit of a hint if you've been watching the show.
Oh,
if there's a witty saying that sounds very clever that I say, I've probably taken it from somebody else. told you that I've taken it from somebody else, and then continue to use it.
You stole something from me once. I forget what it was, but Sharif thought it was you. And then I totally forget what phrase it was. It was back when I was in the Midday. It was probably like a year ago or something. It was like a very long time ago. But anyways, yeah, I know that is like kind of your MO. So yeah, chung there, theft of sayings. But yeah, no, that's a really good point. It's like these being aware of when to get out of trends is something I'm noticing too, especially now that I'm not strictly trading during the midday. That is like I really am trying to get the hang of, because especially at the start of the day or like near your power hour or when things change, that's when you really have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And that's something I'm still like, time in the market, right? Seed time.
Exactly.
That's really what I'm learning. You just have to sit there, you have to grind it out, you have to work on it, and things become clear with time. And
there's not just one way. Like I draw trend lines because that's where I started. Like when I first started trading, I was drawing trend lines everywhere. That was kind of like support and resistance and trend lines, and I wasn't using indicators a heck of a lot. Now we use a few. That can, look, any trend can break and you can have a million indicators for it. You could be hitting Fibonacci retracements. You could be hitting moving averages. You could be looking at an RSI. You can, like, there's just so much that you can look at for a trend reversal. The point being, when an inflection point gets hit and you got to make a decision, I like the binary aspect of a trend line, especially a parabolic one that's held for a longer period of time. Bearded Warrior Trades is asking me, because you put my name in there, thank you very much, what are my thoughts on X? So I know I'm very certain, not for sure, you probably don't mean formerly Twitter.
Maybe though, with the potential
well, maybe you do.
Stuff with TikTok, right?
Maybe you do. My thoughts on that are Elon Musk is not getting TikTok. I think that makes absolutely no sense. Why would it just doesn't make any sense because he owns X. So that's the kind of thing they wouldn't let happen. I believe, like Sean mentioned, like Mr. Beast, that's very believable to me. Kevin O'Leary had a team that they were putting together to be able to buy some, but I think you're talking about U.S. steel. So the details here, the Nippon steel deal probably not happening. They're still trying to get that pushed through. At this point, I mean, Trump wasn't for it, and Biden certainly isn't for it right now. The regulators had some questions about it, but you've got both Nucor and Cleveland Cliffs that are interested and say they've got the coin and they're locked and loaded and ready with a price potentially in the high 30s. That was the latest news story. It's put a temporary bid on the stock. Although I want to just caveat, like the support down here has been at $30, so you're paying a big premium to that level. I wanted to see it settle down. I think I usually say this when you have a news event. So they had the theory that there could be a deal, the speculation there could be a deal. It held on to some support at the end of the day. It was underneath that support, so I'm like not touching it with a 10-foot pole. I think I said if it holds a low and holds it again, then I become a buyer where I see the algos buying, where I see the merger and arb guys buying. And I didn't see any of that today. There's no obvious indication as to where the low is except for maybe 36. So it's got a bit of a floor from the 36 level. That's the only thing I'd be working off of. It's only day 2 after this new information, so I still think you have some time for it to make a different base. But look, I trade buyouts all the time. Like I've been trading buyouts for 15 to 20 years, and I still do it on a daily basis. It's kind of like muscle memory to me. This is different because it's not a firm deal or even a firm offer at this point.
That's hard, yeah.
But part of the premise is it's all support and resistance. And it's where are the big merger and arb guys making their plays? Can you price out where they should be making their plays? Or is it obvious where they're making their plays and go off that? I did have one today. Here, I'll give you an example. I was trading H&E, deal announced yesterday, just to give you an idea. And if you have any guesses, what do you think I did today on HEES? So this is a daily chart. They announce a deal, and it goes up here. And it's a $90, it was like a $92 cash deal. So just to give you an example of what this looks like, in yesterday's trade on the first day, it just holds the highs. Today, it rinsed. So it rinsed to the downside. I smell opportunity. 92 cash deal, where are the buyers going to come in? Do you think I'm on the bid here? Absolutely not. What do? I see a consolidation, and it mean reverted. So this is an actual trade that I had on, and we don't necessarily go over the buyout trades, which I should probably change that because they're profitable.
That's cool.
No, it did this trend down. So if you watch the show, buyout, cash, finds a bottom, the algos like it here, trend reversion, I was long right there. And I was long into the prior high. I never actually got all the way to the top, so I didn't get full profitability on that one, but it was still a good trade, and it comes back to the low. I trailed out of it right there. It broke this trend here, and I got out of that trade. So this is the thing about trading. The same principles that you use trading today, MSTR on a trend trade or Mara on a trend trade, I'll apply those to something completely different, like HES, which is just a buyout deal. It's only going to do volume for a couple of days, so you want to take advantage of it when they can. So what else do you guys can let us know if there's anything else you have questions on. No issues whatsoever. I do see we got a super chat from Nimrod again. You want to get it?
I mean, we can both. I can read it. Yeah, sorry. Nimrod here. Thank you for the $69.90. I am unsure of what currency super chat. Doesn't buying BTC exposure via stocks like Mara, MSTR, and Coin instead of actual BTC undermine its potential? Imagine BTC's price if that money would buy direct. Also escalates stock crypto correlation. Any insights on that? I mean, I think some of that correlation has dropped a little bit, and I think it's hard too because I mean, I have a graphic I made on this for TTV Research. I'll see if I can find a link to this. But really, of the companies that even hold Bitcoin in the crypto space, MSTR makes up more than 75% of all of the publicly held companies holding Bitcoin. Like, it is mostly MicroStrategies. Almost said Microsoft. So if you're not basically getting involved here in MicroStrategy, you're actually going to have much less exposure to Bitcoin itself. So it depends on if you want to play it as a sympathy play or if you're actually looking for that secondhand exposure to Bitcoin. That's my answer, but I know not as much about the space. I just do think it's worth noting that if you actually look at it, like MSTR is more than 10 times the Bitcoin held by Mara, and they're the second largest holder.
Which is significant. And those are shekels. I know because Nimrod sent many super chats, and the first time he did, I checked it up and looked it up because I didn't recognize what those are. It doesn't matter with super chat, no super chat. It's a good question. Leverage cuts both ways. You know, like the fact that we have more leverage gives us more swings and trading opportunities. So I won't be angry over the fact that you're gonna get bigger moves in MSTR and Mara oftentimes when Bitcoin is moving. As a trader, that's fantastic. You want that kind of a thing. And yeah, if all the money that wants to be in said thing is concentrated into one spot in Bitcoin, certainly that could be good. But you've got to look at it from the other standpoint too. Now all of a sudden you have a lot of other vehicles where some people who have a bunch of money to put into the markets are not going to be comfortable actually going to Binance or wherever they might go or going into Coinbase. They're just not necessarily going to be involved directly in Bitcoin. And this gives you an opportunity, whether it's through a miner, whether it's through MSTR, whether it's through the ETS, to get a lot more money and eyeballs to it. So it cuts both directions. I think a lot of times when people tell you that the ETFs and all that decrease volatility, it only seems that way until it's not true. That's not how leverage ever works, man. Like it's kind of like the housing crisis. All those derivatives, it makes you think that things are going to be more stable, but in the long run, it just means the black swans are going to be bigger when they do eventually happen. So just keep that in mind.
Also, sorry, I just want to mention this. We just talked about short reports. The founder of Hindenburg Research has announced that Hindenburg Research is shutting down. So Hindenburg is a huge short seller. They actually started the downward snowball of SMCI. I'm going to see if I can read all of this.
The humanity.
But basically, they said here that they started this since late last year, but they made the decision to disband Hindenburg. They're planning on winding up after they finish the pipeline of ideas they were working on. So poor SMCI that they didn't announce this 6 months earlier, 8 months earlier, but apparently the last of the Ponzi cases they completed and are sharing with regulators, as they put it, I guess that's how they put their short cases, is today. So Hindenburg, I don't know, I thought that would be worth mentioning just because of the fact that we just talked about these short reports, and it's actually worth noting now we have one less shorter.
Go SMCI.
Hunter Brook Research, you got...
Go SMCI.
Is it actually moving?
Oh, a little bit.
Oh my gosh,
Hey, 1%'s not nothing. The aftermarket, nothing was happening. Bye.
Wild.
Look, I have nothing. As a trader, there's a lot of things. Like we talk about the market being rigged and this and that. I try to temper, I'll always try to be real about things. I try to temper my dissatisfaction with the markets or the way that I frame certain types of manipulation or things that aren't fair in the market. And the only reason I do that is because, truth be told, I haven't done anything else. The first thing I did out of university was be a trader, and I've been doing it since 2003. So it's really difficult for me to be mad at the system. I can't because it's given me everything. So I can't hate the markets too much. That being said, in a bull market, these short firms getting out of the way, it creates opportunities when they have their reports for traders. But I think a lot of people will probably be happy in SMCI
people in the
if
chat
it
are
can
like
make
they
any
agree
bit
with
of
a
a
lot
bounce.
companies too, yeah.
Well, this is the other thing too, and look, I have nothing. We can get to a philosophical discussion about short selling. I believe there's a fundamental difference between short selling as a day trader, which a day trader shorting is a forced buyer at the end of the day. It doesn't have any real effect on the long-term direction of a company. I even think that short selling has its definite place for price discovery. There is a vast difference between that and hedge funds that just simply lean on stocks in many different ways to just destroy them. That's not the same thing as, oh, this stock is overvalued until it pulls back 20% and the PE gets good, I think it's a sell. That's very different from, we're going to take this thing down to zero and we're going to lean on it because there's not enough buyers ever compared to the size of a bankroll that we have. So we'll see what happens. I know, and definitely Calbert, I'm not saying that they shut down because of a lack of money. They did very well. Like, you've seen how many times you get a report and presuming they've got the top, it's been fantastic. Muddy Waters probably banked on that FTAI. So it is what it is. They got to do, they're out there doing their thing as well. You try to limit the amount of hate at the end of the day, right? Like, don't hate the player, hate the game, if that's what you want to do. We only got about 4 minutes to go here. It's like weird. It kind of felt like we had so much time, and then all of a sudden you get to 4:30. There were a couple of things that were moving at the end of the day that I just wanted to recap for everybody before we get into the end.
We also have another short, not a short report. I'm so tired here. We have another super chat.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Apologies. I was just going to point out. I was just going to point out that Tesla is still kind of pulling back a little bit, and we're saying at the end of the day, and a few viewers pointed this out, that a close above 428 would have been pretty key. Well, it's a little bit under that level, not too far, but I think we have a shot at that 428 as well. Thank you very much. Only in Ohio. Appreciate you. We got another super chat from Nimrod, which we should read. Thank you, Nimrod. Whoops, that's the same one from before. That's the new one. The currency is shekels. And many greetings to all my fellow Israelis, to our Palestinian neighbors and Arab cousins in this chat for nearing the end of this tragic war. I think ultimately that's a great sentiment.
I agree.
One of the best things about this show is it brings together people from all across the world. Doesn't matter what your background is. We all have a passion for the markets, and we understand that we're just all here to grow and help each other get better. There's no better community than that because everyone is in it for the same thing.
We're all together because of that.
Yeah, everyone just wants the next guy to make more money. You want to make money for yourself as a trader, you want the next guy to make more money. That's all it is. Like, I'm not here for anybody to lose money. I'm not here for anybody to, I don't care, like, I mean, if you happen to put pineapple on your pizza, I might not be a big fan of that. Yeah. If you happen not to like Buffalo Bills, I'll probably talk trash to you, but at the end of the day, it's all love on the show. So thank you very much for that sentiment. May oil stocks keep dropping. That's where I draw the line, Nimrod, because I own CVX in my personal account, so I kind of draw the line right there. Let's just hope they don't drop too far, because I think the opportunity to buy the dip. I've taken it a couple of times on CVX at 141, and it can't seem to go more than 10%. Thankfully, they pay a pretty solid dividend while I'm holding on to it. Bears versus Bulls says, go Chicago Bills. Yeah, I'll take it, even though it's the Buffalo Bills. And with that, I know it's near 4:30, and we keep talking about how great of a community we have, Adara, and how fantastic this community is. And one of the things that we do, if you're new to the program, to shout out to this community and to the Trader TV Live family is the roll call at the end of the day. And what that is going to be is in rapid fashion, all the names that get put into the chat, all you have to do is type a message, get read off in rapid fashion by Adara, and all you have to do is hit the like, hit the subscribe, more importantly, because it's the subs only chat. So don't forget, if you haven't done it, do that right now. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share it with your friends. Give thanks to Fabian on the ones and twos. Thanks to Ramin. Our production crew is fantastic. They make us look and sound better, a lot better than we are. Andre on the social. We have lots of great social content coming out in the next couple of weeks as well. Big shout out to the Midday boys. You have the Bash brothers back with Sharif and Joe. Big shout out to my man Sean. To, of course, Obi as well, who's still yelling from the back, giving trading ideas when he's not even on the show. And, of course, a big shout out to you, Adara, for wearing green and making the market go up. And thank you to Bears versus Bulls, the best moderator in the business. With that, let's get some roll call.
Thank you so much to Bears Bulls for seriously everything you do. Such a great moderator and really the helm of our amazing community. Thank you again to Nimrod for those super chats and like the really lovely message in that, because I think that's really important to remember.
Yes.
We are all in this together. Shout out to High School Musical 3. Shout out to Neil, Sean, shout out to Sharif, Joe, we have Brendan, we have Obi, Go Sports, as Bears vs. Bulls just said in the chat. We have Fabian, Ramin, and Andre. And also we have a new, this is a great name, Smoldemort with a super chat, $10 super chat Canadian. Thank you very much to Smoldemort. Wife wants to know where to get the eyeshadow Adara. If it's ODD, just know I want to bet. It's from Morphe. So I do not know, I actually don't know ODD, it is Morphe. And yeah, pretty new too. So shout out to you, to Mr. Fife, Rocco, Joseph Birch Music, Easy Media, Sammy Dalla, Darren Michael, Project HMB, we got Carlo, we have Sister Girl from Another World, Bearded Warrior Trades, Kyle W, Kyle Burdett as well has been here, so shout out to Big Spile, I've gotten to say that in a while. Mile High Momo, Oliver Katsaros, Bob S, we have, I'm just going to scroll to the end here because I was a little bit up. We have Miss A, we have Christmas, we have For Profit, we have Nicole, and we have Ali Yu just became a member. So with that, thank you very much to everyone for being here. I really love this community. And check us out, Trader TV Live on X and Instagram. Check us out, TTV Research on X if you're looking for some market insights.
Thank you very much, Adara. Great roll call there. Thank you for that last super chat there. Swoldemort as well. But you know what? Oh, earnings season is back, everybody. Tomorrow morning, we've got Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, TSM also going to be on tap. Those are some big ones. A couple of UNH is another massive one. A couple of small regional banks as well are going to be reporting. And we have it all for you live tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning. We're Trader TV Live. We'll see you in the AM.
See ya.